Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Hey, hey. Happy Sunday, everybody. How y'all feeling out there, man? Y'all like the church music, man? We got some nice old, great church music for y'all. Let everybody say, oh, I. You feeling good this morning? Shout out to Jimmy McFly, man, for coming through with this nice little tune for us in the morning. Get us started this morning. I apologize about the delay, man. I was supposed to do this live yesterday, but man, I came down with one of the worst headaches. Turn down the music just a little bit. Turn down the music just a little bit. But yeah, y'all, man, I came down with one of the worst headaches yesterday. Oh, man. And it had started coming on when I was doing that live yesterday. I don't know if y'all noticed. Yeah, this is Jimmy McFly's beat. I don't know if y'all noticed yesterday when I was, doing that live yesterday, but as I got kind of started with it, my head had started hurting. So y'all might have noticed that my energy wasn't the same, and I had kind of ended the live kind of, earlier than I would be. I know y'all like, damn, we only been live about an hour and a half. Yeah, man, my head had started hurting. And I just had to give it up for right then. And I thought I could just lay down for a little while, get me something to eat, do something to get my head right. But I never had fully recovered, so. No, that's what I'm saying. I did not go live. I was supposed to go live yesterday. I went live one time yesterday, and then I was supposed to go live a second time. But I came down with a headache, and I just couldn't go. And I was trying to, I had it set for I think at 7:30, and I pushed it back to 8:30, pushed it back to 9:30, pushed it back to 10:30, and I was just hoping, about an hour I was gonna get better, but it just never happened. It never happened. So I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling way better now. I have zero headache. I had one of those headaches, that be between your eyes and your nose. Oh, man, those frontal lobe headaches. Man, it was horrible, y'all. It was horrible. I couldn't look at nothing. I'm better now, though. I feel way better. I'm energetic now. I'm good to go. Man, I went and looked up some more stories and everything. So we got a full schedule of things that we could talk about, man. We got a lot of things that we could talk about. Now, I know I only put, is Trump and Elon really cutting wasteful spending? That's going to be one of the topics, but there's a lot of topics that I'm going to go over, man, just to give us some little laughing points and, give us some educational points. How about that? So there's a couple of stories that even as I was just coming on that I ran across, and I'm like, wow, damn. But let's try to get out the way as much as possible, man, because I ain't really got a lot that I got planned on doing today besides cleaning out Lady Earz' car and getting packed up for the week. So we can get into these YouTube streets, AKA these Twitter streets, and these other streets around the, I think it was the sinus headache star. So we can get into a couple of stories that's on Twitter, on YouTube. I've seen some funny stuff. I've seen some serious stuff. So I think we should probably start out with maybe some funny stuff, man. Let's get everybody funny bone going. Let's get you, get you thinking. So let's see what we got first that we can dive into. And if anybody, this is one of those days now, if y'all got something that y'all would like for me to dive into a little bit, I might can shave out a little area to dive into something that you might have seen and you just want to know my opinion about it or what we thinking about it. So yesterday I was roasting Bishop, right? Because Bishop had some questionable things that he was doing, that he claimed he was doing when it came to speaking with men on the phone. You know, there's some things that men don't do on the phone. So I made a live yesterday playing what Bishop was saying with men on the phone. So before we get into the real stories, let's go to Bishop's reaction real quick. I was just watching it, and it was real funny to me. I know we ain't supposed to be in the full of the shit right now, but it's some shit that I can't ignore. It's some shit that I can't ignore. So Bishop reacted to Earz to the Streets yesterday, y'all. So let's listen to Bishop's reaction. And y'all, this was 3 hours ago. What time is it right now? It is 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Now, all y'all know, Bishop stays in California, right? So it had to be 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in California time when Bishop made this video. So yesterday, like I say, we went over a video about Bishop telling his audience, the people in his audience, that he was on the phone with a gay man. Well, he's been on the phone with several gay men. And gay men like to ask him to send pictures of they eggplant. So Bishop say the way that he makes money is by sending men pictures of his eggplant. Oh, I played it for y'all. I didn't make up anything. All I did is play the video. So y'all know how Bishop is. He always claimed that I'm making up a narrative when all I'm doing is playing this video. So before we get into the news, let's take a little quick detour over here to Bishop. Yeah, Lovelace, you missed it yesterday. So we're going to take a quick detour. It ain't going to take long. We're just going to give people a little time to come in. We're going to let this man, you know, say what he got to say about Earz to the Streets.
Nigga, you about as stupid as they come. Dumb fuck. You as stupid and retarded, nigga. You as retarded as they come. The weather God. You stupid as fuck, nigga. Stupid ass nigga. You love changing narratives and shit. You love drawing narratives.
Y'all, I think Bishop done ran out of goddamn hotel money. I think Bishop done ran out of hotel money, man. That nigga downtown Los Angeles, sitting around all the cigarette butts, all the smokers, all the winos. God damn, Bishop. No wonder we didn't see Bishop live yesterday. No wonder Bishop didn't come in the live yesterday, man. 5 o'clock in the morning, he out here in the goddamn street smoking cigarettes, panhandling.
You love making narratives. You like paying anything that's got to do with a man and his penis. That turns you on.
No, sir, you the man that was on your own live talking about you sending other men shit. We just covered it. All we did is just react to it. If you don't say it, we don't say it.
The fuck you teaching your son, nigga?
I ain't teaching him no shit like that. Definitely don't teach my son no fuck shit like that. Talking about you putting a microphone in your pants so you could send a punk some pictures. so he could send you $600. You said a punk sent you $600 because you sent him a dick pic. And you had several punks lined up. That's what you said.
Stupid fuck. You about as dumb as fuck. You need to switch up. Oh, what do you say, y'all? What do you say, y'all? Hey, Earz, just call me. All right. Nigga, I'm just scrolling through YouTube. Nigga, it pissed me off, nigga.
How he get pissed off for what he said? Now, if y'all didn't hear what he said, man, y'all go check out the live from yesterday. I ain't gonna go through all that.
And I'm glad it's sick motherfuckers like you. I'm glad God gave you that assignment. Anything about a man penis turn you on, you little sick fuck. You're sick as fuck. You one retarded motherfucker. You're sick as fuck. You're sick.
Hey, man, somebody count how many times Bishop called me sick, y'all. I think he done, this nigga, I pissed Bishop off, y'all.
You just like that spit, nigga. Nasty fuck. Lick it up, punk. Sick as fuck. Sick sissy. This nigga right here. Nigga. Oh, yo, what do you say, y'all? Bro, you ain't got nothing else you can make a video about? You just go take another nigga.
Yeah, I got plenty to make a video about, but, you know, we had to make sure we expose your bitch ass. Because I told you, when you started disrespecting Triple S, motherfucker, I'm going to keep my foot on your fucking neck. So stop crying now, you little bitch.
Video and draw your own narrative. But I forgot.
Shout out to GWB for getting that exclusive.
Bishop, he retarded. Retarded ass, nigga.
GWB, did you catch this, GWB? Bishop homeless. He done got kicked out the motel. You see the nigga downtown now. Panhandling like a motherfucker. The white man done left him. He done took his grapes and strawberries and cherries and shit. But that nigga was laid up with strawberries and cherries just a couple of days ago. Now look at him. 5 o'clock in the morning. Panhandling on the corner with a drunk shirt on.
You retarded as fuck, nigga. Sick ass fuck. Sick.
This is part of Can't Make This Stuff Up news, y'all. This is part of the Can't Make This Stuff Up news, y'all. We gonna cover a lot of shit, but we gonna start with Bishop. I can't make this shit up. A nigga talking about this nigga be so desperate, he'll get on the phone with punks, exchange meat pictures, and he's still on the streets. He stole a car and drove to Texas. Oh, Lord have mercy. I can't wait for your clip of that. Bishop, you know we gonna cover that, right? Hey, that nigga Bishop is a rolling prostitute. What'd you say, Justin? I got a weird short of Bishop to go look at? All right, I got you. We ain't gonna be on him too long. We just, I just figured I'll cover him for a little bit. We gonna get on to I Can't Make This Stuff Up news. We just don't want everybody to be able to miss the news. Y'all hit the like button as y'all come in. We got a lot of news to go over, y'all. We gonna be here for a minute, going through some world news, going through some clown shit that people are doing around the world, around the country. Couple of things. We gonna freestyle a couple of things, y'all. I might go through Twitter, and we gonna freestyle a couple of things, but it's a couple of things I already got planned. So y'all stay tight. If you ain't got nowhere to go, you're looking for some content right now. That ain't just, I ain't about to yell and scream with nobody right now, but I will drop the link if anybody want to come up and talk about any of the things that I'm gonna bring up.
Fucking puppy. Yo, nigga. Sick puppy. It's sad. It's like, bruh. How old are you, nigga? You in your 40s?
And you in your 50s? Need men to take care of you?
You're just so fascinated over a man's penis. Your whole what is that, y'all? What is that? How you on the phone talking to somebody and it go to a penis flick?
Yeah, explain that. So you heard me ask that question. Why don't you explain how do a conversation on the phone lead to exchanging pictures?
Nigga, it's sickening to
Grand Rising Jay Williams.
even make a video about you. But since I know I got your attention and I got a stain on your brain, nigga, you had dreams about me.
No.
You always talk.
He over here standing on the corner like a real prostitute. This nigga can't even do a live from a room no more.
Talking about a man's penis. You're sick as fuck. And the people that listen to you, they're sick and retarded too.
Damn, all y'all sick. All y'all sick for sitting over here listening.
Sick fuck. Of all the content you could make and of all the things you can say, your whole conversation is about a man's penis. What is that, y'all? Don't be in.
All right, y'all, that's enough of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I got Bishop hot because Bishop didn't want me to cover, what he was saying about, putting a microphone in his pants so he can get $600 out of another man. Bishop didn't like me covering that, y'all, so we'll get off Bishop. We got other things we could talk about. I just thought that was funny this morning. He got up and, the man he going live from the corner. That's what your bitch ass get, nigga. That's what your bitch ass get. Live from the corner. Bitch, you look good on the corner. Oh, man. So anyway, man, what should we start at first, man? What we gonna start at first? Okay, let's see here. Who we got first, y'all? Let's see who we got first. So, y'all, if y'all haven't already seen it, I got a couple of videos that I put on the Earz to the Streets news channel. So if y'all haven't subbed up the Earz to the Street News, go ahead and sub up the Earz to the Street News. And so you can catch, some of the news stories that Earz to the Streets has dropped. Now, I want to show y'all a video because we about to get into a little Elon Musk and Trump news.
He is coming.
We about to get into a little Elon Musk and Trump news just for the kicks and giggles of it. I don't want nobody to get mad. I know how we get when we get into the political talk, when we get into stuff. But I seen an interesting video, y'all. And I want to show y'all this video because I feel like there's a lot in it that can be broke down as far as, the subliminals that's in this video. And I just came across these brothers. They're called the Door Brothers. So let's let's watch this video real quick. And I'm going to stop through it a little bit so I can break down the subliminals in it. So starting off in this video, as y'all can see on the screen right now, it starts out with Kamala Harris. Damn, that really looks like Kamala. I don't know if this is an actor or whatever. But as y'all can see, shout out to Steady Grinding. As y'all can see, it starts out with Kamala Harris. She's driving and she has a whole bunch of alcohol bottles in her damn car. Shout out to Carl Belton, man. Salute to the tradesmen. Tradesmen rule the world. Salute, salute, salute. So let's look at this music video. And they got a lot of music video. I'm gonna drop the link for this channel too, man, so y'all can check out these videos. Because I found myself binge watching a lot of these videos. So we're gonna get into the kind of the subliminals that these videos are showing. So let's start right here. Shout out to the Door Brothers.
I spin fellas, my swing quicker than Federer. I serve packing a band's bag on a regular. And I'ma tell her how she sing for me, G.
Now, the first subliminal we see right here, we see Kamala drinking and driving. Now, I think the vehicle represents, you know, America. She's driving the vehicle of America and she's drunk. Which is kind of funny. And as she's
quicker than Federer, I serve packing a band's bag on a regular. And I'ma tell her
she's drunk driving and she got the vehicle and she's thinking she's a winner.
She sing for me, T-Pain. Your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click Amazon, bang them.
And as she's driving,
tell her she sing for me, T-Pain.
You got Trump passing by in a limo, living a totally different lifestyle.
Mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling.
He got all the bitches with him. He got the cigar puffing.
I click Amazon, bang them. Like a punk band.
Now you got
a mukbang. The magazine.
Now what does this say? Can't really read what's on the drink.
Me lean when I walk in the drumstick will making that bang like a punk.
Now you got Mark Zuckerberg right here. And he's like the police. And he's drinking. He's the police, but he's drunk too.
Hop in the cab, banging me crossword. Bells bringing the website.
And okay, and everybody understands, you know, here's the Vladimir Putin image. Looking like a gangster. And as you can see, he was on the doorsteps of Ukraine.
Flinging the dry food, bringing the cake.
Now you have the leader of Ukraine, which Trump was calling a dictator, with piles of cash next to him. He's draped in the U.S. flag while the countries are going at war behind him. And it looks like he got the White House burning behind him, and you got Putin right here. He drunk on power too.
I'm running a man day. Mr. Big Bucks, I'll be looking at business. Stressed to kill, mama got me up on a Rick list. Pole position at the fella running.
Now, of course, now you got Hillary. So this video is not discriminating against nobody. They're saying all of these motherfuckers are drunk with power.
Stop sending the lads there. Hopping me dropped up, I'm running a man day. Mr. Big Bucks.
Now you got Hillary right here. Now, you know, and maybe somebody can explain this to me. You know, I'm going to drop the link. Maybe somebody can explain this to me. But I see Adidas a lot. I see everybody wearing this Adidas wear. What is it about Adidas they trying to say? But now you got an image of Hillary and all the black people behind her shucking and jiving.
I'll be looking at business, stressed to kill, mama got me up on a Rick list.
And it seems like all the black people with guns, riding around with guns, having fun.
Position.
Now, of course, everybody know who this is. And the same thing, you see the Adidas wear behind her. I've been trying to figure out what the Adidas symbol was meaning. If anybody could tell me what you think the Adidas means, I would like to know. Now, we could definitely see what this image means right here. You got the red button that both for Putin and what the fuck this motherfucker name? I can't remember his name. I know his name, but it won't come to my head right now. But you see, it looks like the UK on fire, bombs dropping. They got the red button right here, and they're eating American food.
And I'ma tell her how she sing.
Now, this is a very weird one right here, y'all. You got an image of Mark Zuckerberg, and you got the lizard on his shoulder.
Me T-Pain, your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click Amazon, bang, I'm a
Free speech detected. So it's like they're trying to say that Mark Zuckerberg is trying to censor free speech, which I agree with that. Because on Facebook, that's one of the reasons I came to YouTube. I kept getting fucking banned on Facebook for saying free speech shit.
I feel his head with the lead like a mukbang. The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick, I'm making that bang like a punk band. Hop in the cab, I'm banging me crossword up, heading to Western.
Now you got Elon Musk getting chased by Mark Zuckerberg. Now, this was an interesting viewpoint right here. You said, did I see what President Elon just said AI was going to cause genocide? Hey, I'm getting into that. I'm getting into that. Trust me, we getting into that. But it's showing this image of Mark Zuckerberg meeting up with reptilians. They're trying to say Mark Zuckerberg is a reptilian. Do I think Adidas mean woke? That possibly could be. I've been trying to figure out what the Adidas mean because I keep seeing Adidas in the video.
Mr. Big Bucks, I'll be giving a triplet.
There's the Adidas again, and I believe this is supposed to be the I believe he's a leader. I can't remember what country he's a leader of. But I think this is an image of him, leading old people into bad health.
The bigger the bag, the bigger the butt crack, the bigger the chance the birds up in my contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the contract, so me.
Well, the lyrics are from, those two old men that do the rapping and stuff. So this is not like they just put the music behind the image and everything. So the music is, just to, get the upfloor beat. It's all about the imagery that they're trying to get people to see. Now they're moving over to Brexit, and they're moving over to the Prime Minister of the UK. This guy here, I can't remember his name.
Crack, the bigger the chance the birds up in
now
contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the.
Now you having 3 countries right here: Germany, USA, and France. Well, I think that might be the Mexican flag. So these girls are representing 3 different countries, and they're shocked at Brexit.
Contracts on me up, baby, give a tip when it's up there. And I've been whipping a wire, popping a Benson, pushing.
And of course, you see.
Tracks on me up, baby, give a tip when it's up there. And I've been.
Now you got an image right here, Elon Musk with dogs. I guess he's saying that he's saving all the dogs from the Haitians eating them or whatever. Smoking 2 cigarettes in Adidas with all the guns and gangsters behind him. And then Trump comes and bring him money. Trump comes and bring him money, and Trump is in the Adidas suit also.
Pushing a pack, the full stack like a bench.
Now you got Trump and Elon about to pull up to Mark Zuckerberg and metadata, and watch what Trump and Elon does.
Chin given the fish scale that slide up.
Now this is an interesting image right here, y'all. Mark Zuckerberg with Terminate on his glasses, and you got Elon and Trump getting into a war with Mark Zuckerberg, the war of the billionaires.
In the seams of my levers with a stack figure, the Nicki Minaj way on. Side, I'ma Emirates Airlines in the seams of my levers with a stack figure than Nicki Minaj. Wait,
Here go another young nigga making trouble. Yeah.
Help us. And Elon is walking off. And watch what Elon does.
We played in the bubble, tear shit down, playing the rubber, shoot shit, we ain't saying it.
Now, this is an image. Even Eminem had something to say like this in one of his raps. This is showing Elon out in space while the world is on fire. You see all the bombs and stuff blowing up over here? Give you something to think about. Now, I don't even have to tell y'all what this is depicting right here. As a kid being bullied by, you know, like you're a geek or something like that. And then you have a lizard bite him on the tongue, and now he's a, you know, I guess a reptilian. I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg, when you look at him real close, he do look like he might be, you know, from another planet or some shit. But you got a human right here. I guess that's the real Mark Zuckerberg, but they might have a, you know, a clone of Mark Zuckerberg that the reptilians are, you know, controlling. Now, here you got Bill Gates. You got a whole bunch of sick kids. Now, y'all know how they were saying Bill Gates, you know, I think they say he trademarked something about the coronavirus or something like that. And a lot of people believe he had something to do with the coronavirus. Cause I think he trademarked the vaccine or something like that. And it's just a little short video, man. And like I say, there's a lot of subliminal messages in this. And when we get into our conversation about, you know, what's going on in our country right now, we can, you know, we could come up with a lot of speculations about what's going on in our world right now. And that's what we about to do. That's exactly what we about to do. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Yeah, did you see Bill Gates in there? Did you see Bill? Save your money, because shit finna get real. Just a warning, though. Oh, yeah, I believe that. Shit about to really get real. And I think a lot of people are thinking that, like, you can keep taking the toothpaste out the tube and putting it back into the tube. And I don't think that's the issue. I mean, that's the thing. Because I think we really done fucked up as America by allowing the richest man in the world to take over everything that we got going on. But we're gonna see for ourselves, man. Let's go through some of the things that's going on. I appreciate your Brew Life HVAC. So I found this video right here, you know, and it's going to be, well, the other day we watched the video of Trump and Elon having a conversation with the press, and Elon told us that he pretty much was lying about, you know, the money, how the money was being used. But let's watch this real quick and see what it is that, you know, that he's lying about now.
Billions of dead people are not getting benefits, experts say. Now, he released this chart that shows to slash certain benefits Elon Musk keeps using this propaganda tool of spreading lies about certain institutions, spreading lies about certain agencies or certain benefits, and then using those lies as justifications to slash them, to completely nuke certain agencies. Let's take US aid, for example. He made up complete lies about US aid. He selectively released small numbers and then used that as a justification to shutter the agency entirely.
And we're still waiting for the proof about the misuse of money, of government money, for all these agencies that they're talking about. I want to believe that, yeah, a lot of money is being misused in our government. But I would like to see the proof also. And being the government, I feel like they should have plenty of proof to show the American people of what it is they're cutting and why they're cutting it out. But as we can see right now in the world, in the country, a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of federal employees are losing their jobs. People who voted for Trump, people who didn't vote for Trump.
And it's the same thing with Social Security. Before I play this clip of Joe Rogan, all that I ask is that you drop a like, subscribe, and let's lay the groundwork with this article that's titled, "Musk Misreads Social Security Data. Millions of dead people are not getting benefits, experts say." Now, he released this chart that shows apparently people who are 120 years old to 140 to 160 years old are getting millions of dollars in benefits. It's not true at all. President Donald Trump and Elon Musk, in their hunt for, quote, fraud, waste, and abuse in the federal government, are falsely implying millions of dead Americans are receiving Social Security benefits, experts told ABC News. And the most disappointing part of it all is that we literally have a QAnon administration. We have a QAnon president, and Elon Musk is in this deep, deep spiral where he's latching onto more and more conspiracy theories. And when these lies are coming from the top down, they are so hard to fight. I covered in another video the other day, this Trump supporter saying, it's coming from the president. How can he be lying? He has it on good authority that vaccines are doing this and that Bill Gates is doing that. It's like, dude,
how can he be lying? Maybe the same way he was lying about Haitians eating dogs and cats. Maybe it's the same way he was lying about day one, the gas price is going to go down. Day one, grocery price is going to go down. Like, we're acting like this man hasn't lied about a lot of stuff, and now when he says stuff about, oh, there's all this wasteful spending and all that, and now we're acting like he's a truth teller.
He's a QAnon conspiracy theorist in the Oval Office. So it started in the Oval Office last week when Musk, facing reporters for the first time since the Doge department began its aggressive overhaul of the federal government, said he found, quote, crazy things in the Social Security system, including, he said, people who are 150 years old. The billionaire has only built on that claim on social media, including screenshots of data he says shows millions of people marked as alive, and again, it is not true. And Elon Musk is continuing his barrage of disinformation on Twitter. You know, I've been pulling up Elon's Twitter just to show you guys. I just pulled it up right now. He tweeted out, I just want to show you. This is what we're fighting against. He tweeted out 4 minutes ago, Reuters full of lies. 13 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago again, 15 minutes ago, 16, 19, 21, 22, 23. This dude tweets every minute. It's obsessive. It is an obsessive.
And do y'all really think it's him that's tweeting this, or is he having a whole bunch of bots that continuously tweet all of this stuff? Because he's in control of your information now. He's in control of giving Americans information, like he was the whole time during the presidential election.
Trait with him at this point, and this is what we are pushing back against. There was a specific tweet I was looking for, but now I can't find it. But it was basically just Trump saying that Elon Musk needs to be more aggressive, not less aggressive, which is a scary thought. Let's go back to this. On Tuesday, Trump repeated many of the same false numbers that Musk had put out. Quote, now the big thing is, how many of these people got paid? They're all asking, why are these old people getting paid? Now, according to agency statistics, of the 67 million people who receive Social Security benefits, only 0.1% are over the age of 100. Quote, so when they're throwing around numbers like tens of millions of dead people are getting Social Security, well, there's only 67 million total. What are they talking about? Half of the people are actually dead? The numbers are so ridiculous. It's not.
Now, somebody make that make sense. If there's only 67 million people that are getting Social Security benefits, how is it that tens of millions of people are over 100, over 150 years old? I think I seen that it said something about people are 200 years old getting Social Security. Do we believe this? I know some people do. But to get to my point, so Trump and Elon are telling American people that they are, what's the word I'm looking for? That they're cutting wasteful spending. Now, I found some wasteful spending, and it might not be wasteful. Y'all can tell me. I found some wasteful spending that, you know, if we're going to cut some wasteful spending, you know, what they can do to cut wasteful spending. Now, let's look at how much money Elon Musk has been getting from the Department of Defense and contracts, because we know that a whole bunch of people are getting fired or whatever. So Elon Musk companies have a variety of contracts with the U.S. Department of Defense, highlighting the growing relationship between the tech entrepreneur ventures and the U.S. military. SpaceX. Now, we went over this the other day. SpaceX provides launches service to the DoD, including the launch of classified satellites and other payloads. SpaceX CEO Gwen Shotwell has said the company has about $22 billion in government contracts. $15 billion of that was diverted from NASA. Now, we went over this article the other day. I broke down all the NASA programs. I mean, all the programs that they're getting paid off of. Now, I have a little short video to show y'all. I have a short video I want to show y'all, pretty much. Now, this video is of a town that was used for SpaceX. And this town,
I want to buy your house,
has literally suffered from, hold on, y'all, let me find it. This town has literally suffered of being held hostage because of a SpaceX. And let me show y'all what I'm talking about.
Meet Niles Kinnerk.
Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Now, fair use, fair use. I'm going to put on a little music behind this, and hopefully I don't get a copyright strike or whatever they do. Let me put some music behind it. And we're going to check out this small town that has been taken hostage by Elon Musk.
I think we're at the dawn of a new era. I think it's going to be very exciting.
We are at T-minus under 33 minutes and counting.
I'd love to have SpaceX be the company that brings humanity to Mars, and I hope I see it while I'm still alive.
Now, you hear Elon says he hoping that we be the country that can colonize Mars. We're having a problem colonizing America. We have a problem with keeping our American people, I guess you could say, taken care of. But we're worrying about going to Mars. Why is that, y'all? Why is there such a rush to explore space and go colonize other planets when we got a lot of shit to do on this planet?
I mean, are we going to Mars or not? Right now, we sure are messing a lot of stuff up in our area here.
Brownsville, Texas sits at the southernmost tip of the United States. It's a border town of 200,000 people. 10 years ago, it was up in
Brownsville, Texas, town of 200,000 people.
by the arrival of a very famous new resident, the richest man in the world. Many residents are glad that this $350 billion company moved into a town that has struggled with high unemployment for decades.
We need this area to grow. It's the poorest county in the nation. If we don't grow, we're gonna die.
Come here, Elon! Did you see his rocket yesterday?
President Trump has promised to support Musk's vision for interplanetary travel.
We will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
This is what victory feels like. Yeah!
But what's actually happening in Brownsville, where Elon Musk has already staked his company's flag?
We're a disadvantaged community that's being exploited by a billionaire for his experimental space fantasy.
Now, this is the first community. We don't know how many more communities are coming up next for these rocket experiments. But we're going to listen to what happened to this community after Elon Musk and SpaceX came to their community.
We used to go a lot. I mean, before I even married, we would go, and he would go with his family also. And then once we married, we had boys. We were there probably every weekend.
It was just a very serene place. It's still beautiful when you can get there.
Renee and Ida Mandrano live just 17 miles from Boca Chica Beach, where SpaceX launches the rocket Starship, the largest and most powerful rocket ever built, and the one that Elon Musk says will take humanity to Mars. The Starship, which includes the booster Super Heavy, is a 5,000-ton rocket made of stainless steel, designed to carry up to 150 metric tons of cargo, which Musk says is necessary for his Mars colony.
The launch is...
So, Mars is Elon Musk's focus. You know, he's not building these rockets to better mankind. He has a personal mission, a personal goal that has nothing to do with the American people, in my opinion.
It's here. The rocket is right here, and you can hear it, you can feel it, you can see the fire, you can see the raptors, and you see the smoke, and then all of a sudden you hear those booms. Our dog Miller was running around. It was loud. It sounded like
a bomb?
A huge, dangerous, super explosive bomb.
What was once 1,400 acres of beach and wetlands is now home to SpaceX's building facility, launch pad, and a continuously growing town where employees live, called Starbase. The rocket launches 5 times a year, but right now SpaceX is applying to launch 25 times a year.
So you go from 5 launches a year, and now they want to up it to 25 launches a year. And who is paying for these launches, y'all? It's not him out of his own pocket. It's the American people.
It's a shame that it got to this point, as big as it is, and probably going to get bigger.
Musk came to Texas to pitch his private space launching facility in 2013.
This will be the first.
In 2013. Now, we heard that last time when I was doing this breakdown that Elon Musk came over in 2002, and that's when he purchased, PayPal. So he got rich off of PayPal and then decided to make a privatized space program. And, Congress approved of, small things at a time. Now listen to what he's about to say.
To Texas to pitch his private space launching facility in 2013.
This will be the first commercial orbital launch site in the world.
And warned that the company was also eyeing Georgia, Florida, and Puerto Rico.
We are looking at other potential launch locations.
The year before, Musk had spent $12,000 in campaign contributions and hired a lobbyist to court local politicians. SpaceX spent a total of $219,000 on gifts, trips to SpaceX headquarters in California, and even a Lakers game. Texas is a billionaire-friendly state. They have no corporate tax or state income tax.
So, when you get a state like Texas, and Texas is kind of similar to Florida, no state tax, no corporate tax. So a corporation would be, it would be their best interest to move there or to build their company there.
But SpaceX wanted more, and Governor Rick Perry and the state officials were eager to win this bid. In exchange, Musk promised millions in growth.
Our competition for this in Texas is very serious.
When we first met with Elon, he explained the project to us. And then he asked us, do you know why I'm doing this? And he kind of, backs away from the table and looks at us and says, humanity can no longer sustain itself on this planet, so I'm gonna help with that by colonizing Mars.
Say what? Elon is saying that humanity can no longer sustain itself on Earth. So he's gonna help us get to Mars so we can colonize Mars. Is that a priority to Americans? Does anybody think that your black ass or your white ass or however, whatever color you are, do you think that you're gonna enjoy going to Mars? Do you think it'll be your kids that will go to Mars? Why is the government accepting this type of bullshit with the American taxpayers' dollars?
So at that moment in time, number one, I thought, I'm fired. How am I gonna go back to the poorest community in the United States and tell my leadership, hey, let's use our hard-earned tax dollars to incentivize and recruit a company to our community. And the reason that they're doing this is because they're gonna save humanity by colonizing Mars. It was just so out there.
Yeah, that's a hard sell. Anybody that stay in Texas, was y'all buying this hard sell?
Gilberto Salinas co-founded the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation, an organization that allocates city taxes to attract businesses.
People laughed at us, but we're like, if we're able to align everything, it might be just that deal of the century.
Salinas' organization chipped in $5 million in incentives, and the state approved an additional $15 million, as well as a 10-year waiver on county taxes.
All your taxpayer money. They spent all these taxpayer money on getting Elon to bring his SpaceX to their town.
10 years later, in 2024, SpaceX released a report claiming they had invested $3.5 billion in infrastructure and created 3,400 new jobs.
Now, that wouldn't be a bad thing. Creating 3,500 new jobs in a town that's, that's struggling. Now, that's not a bad thing. Unless it puts your health at risk, right?
To Salinas, Musk had kept his promise.
I think any business person will say, you invest $5 million and 10 years down the road, those $5 million are going to turn into $3+ billion. Yeah, I would do that deal.
Okay, well, if it turned to $3+ billion, why are y'all firing a whole bunch of people that will never see $1 million? So y'all see what it is when it comes to these billionaires and these governments and all that. They're thinking about the people at the top. They're not thinking about the people at the bottom. They're using your money to flip to make them richer.
Any day.
In 2014, SpaceX broke ground.
The future of South Texas takes off right behind me.
And I need y'all to keep in mind, 2014, who was the president? Who was the president in 2000? Obama. So it's not just, Trump that was dealing with this shit. Obama then was giving this nigga money too. Bush then was ready to give him money too. So this is not a partisan thing. I'm not speaking up for no fucking Democrats and all that. I told y'all, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I point it all out. Don't make me no damn difference.
This was the frontier at one time. And it's the frontier again.
Musk is really good at getting government subsidies. In the last few decades, he's gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from federal grants, tax incentives, and state contracts for his companies.
Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad. I was muted. Shout out to Dialogue with Me TV. Hey, I'm going to drop the link in a minute, man, if anybody want to come up and, tell their opinion about what we're talking about. And this is just a conversation. I'm not taking nobody's sides. I'm not bashing nobody. I'm just talking about the information. We're talking about a man that has gotten billions and billions and billions of dollars for all of his projects. Everybody want to say, oh, he's such a great businessman. He knows how to hustle our government. He's not an American. But we're talking about somebody that gets funneled billions of dollars from your hard tax-earned money that he's never worked a day in his life in America. He's never had to get a job at 16 at McDonald's or Burger King. He's never had to go, fucking stand up in class and say that dumbass pledge of allegiance. He's never had to go through the American experience. But he come over here and we give him all his money and say, yeah, figure out how we can get to Mars. Make us some bulletproof Tesla cars. Make some robots for us.
Tesla and Solar City. SpaceX was near bankruptcy and Musk was deep in debt.
Hold up, y'all. Let me play that part. Is the music too loud, y'all? Y'all let me know. Is the music too loud? Babe, can you hear me good? Or is the music too loud? I want to make sure y'all be able to hear me pretty good. I want to make sure I'm not muffled. Okay. Let me turn the music down just a little bit more. Y'all should have been told me, man. Don't let me mess up the show. I don't know how loud the music be. I just turned it down a little bit. How about that? How about that? Let me know. Let me know. I want to make sure y'all can hear everything very clearly. All right, perfect. Bet. So I'm going to back up just a little bit so they can tell you that Elon, 9 years ago, SpaceX nearly failed itself out of existence. Just 9 years ago. Until what? Until what happened?
Musk is really good at getting government subsidies. In the last few decades, he's gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from federal grants, tax incentives, and state contracts for his companies Tesla and Solar City. SpaceX was near bankruptcy and Musk was deep in debt when NASA gave the company a massive handout in 2008.
NASA called
2008, that sounds like Obama. This man was out of the way until Obama said, hey, we need those drones that you got for the wars that we got over there. Oh yeah, we about to find out some deep information, y'all.
and told us that we'd won.
Company a federal grants, tax incentives, and state contracts for his companies Tesla and Solar City. SpaceX was near bankruptcy.
And listen to what they said. They not only gave him grants for SpaceX, they gave him grants and billions of dollars for Tesla. They gave him billions of dollars so he could put together Tesla. For now, do y'all think he's going to be getting billions of dollars to make those robots? Because they make those robots at Tesla. And we're going to get into those robots in a minute. And the prediction of how many robots are going to be made in the future. No wonder he at the White House. Right, that's what I'm getting at, Tracy So Young. This is the guy that we have in the White House right now making a decision about what our money gonna do. What money is being wasted. Telling us who's spending money and who shouldn't, who deserves money. If you deserve Medicare, Medicaid, they trying to cut out all this money to funnel the money to whatever Elon wants to funnel it to. This is the guy in charge of our money now. The guy that's been sucking up all our money to make space, to go to space, to make robots, to make a brain implant. Have y'all heard about the brain implant that Elon Musk has made? Put in the chat if you heard about the Neuralink. It's called Neuralink. It's a brain implant that allows you. They'll put an implant in your brain, and you can control your phone and your computer and all that just by thinking about something. Have y'all heard about that? We're gonna get into that.
And state contracts for his companies Tesla and SolarCity. SpaceX was near bankruptcy, and Musk was deep in debt when NASA gave the company a massive handout in 2008.
NASA called and told us that we'd won a $1.5 billion contract. And I couldn't even hold the phone. It's like, I just blurted out, I love you guys.
I bet you did love them. They was damn near bankrupt. NASA called them, a government, a government entity. Say, hey, we're gonna give you $1.5 billion with a B. Where does that money come from, y'all? Was that our money they gave this nigga? Did they let us take a vote on that shit? Did they let us take a vote if we want to give this motherfucker did we want to give an African $1.5 billion of our taxpayer money? Did we take a vote on that? No. I don't remember voting on that. But right now, this is the guy going through our government agencies, firing a whole bunch of hardworking people, government employees. A lot of them voted for them. Now, say a government employee been working for the government this whole time. Now they got to go find a new job. How do you find a new job when you've been working in the government all this time?
They saved you.
Yeah, they did.
Financially and maybe even emotionally.
I'll tell you what, that was definitely helpful. Yeah.
But do those subsidies really pay off for towns like Brownsville?
We are a low-income community. We're primarily brown and indigenous. We have a very unique and beautiful community.
Becca Hanosa is a local environmentalist and activist who has been fighting SpaceX for years.
Our people here, we do need jobs. Most of us are in survival mode, and we're in survival mode because we've been exploited so many times by so many different.
I ain't gonna lie, girl. But at this point, I don't know when this video came out, but I can guarantee you her ass is fired at this point. She's the Texas Environmental Justice Center. I think that's probably one of those companies that's probably, then got kicked out the door. Anybody that was in Elon's way, yeah, they ass up out of here right now.
Industries, and now SpaceX is part of that.
Musk has a reputation for forcing high speeds on his workers and lacks safety standards at his work sites. Reuters reported in 2023 that there had been 600 injuries at SpaceX locations since 2014.
There has been 600 unreported injuries in the workplace. Now, who is in charge of investigating those workplace injuries? Who is in charge of regulating these type of things when it comes to unsafe workplace injuries? OSHA. Did I not just show y'all the bill where they're trying to eliminate OSHA? One of the government programs that they're trying to, dismantle, the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor puts forth a bunch of regulations that stops, injuries. Remember, it just said Reuters is lies, lies, lies. Reuters documented at least 600 previous unreported workplace injuries. Do you want to know why Elon is attacking Reuters? Because they are reporting his unsafe practices. This says, at Musk Rocket Company, people with crushed limbs, amputations, electrocutions, head and eye wounds, and one death. SpaceX employees say that they're paying the price for the billionaires to push colonized space at an outbreak speed. They're trying to get to Mars real fast, y'all. We got the Ultimate Showgirl in here. I'm going to go ahead and unblock you, Ultimate Showgirl. You've been being good. So I'm going to go ahead and unblock you so you can enjoy content like this. Give me a second. I'm going to unblock you in a second.
One worker has been in a coma after an on-site accident for 3 years.
What? One employee has been in a coma for 3 fucking years. Now, when that man come out of that coma and he want to sue Elon Musk and SpaceX, do y'all think that lawsuit's gonna go through now that, now that Elon Musk is in control of everything? Do you think that's gonna happen?
Another lost vision in one of his eyes after being struck while moving a beam.
Ya no miré yo nada completamente, entonces yo le gritaba a mi amigo, perdí mi ojo.
Musk's worksite in Boca Chica has an accident rate 6 times higher than anywhere in the space industry.
Hold up, let's go back to that. They have an accident rate of what?
Site in Boca Chica has an accident rate 6 times higher than anywhere in the space industry.
Lo que yo miré, he visto yo allí en ese trabajo de SpaceX, no hay suficiente seguridad. Ahí no hay.
Besides the $5 million Brownsville gifted to SpaceX when they first arrived, the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation has since spent another $1 million to attract space-related startups. Hanosa says it reminds her of a different time in South Texas when they first arrived. The Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation has since spent another $1 million to attract space-related startups. Hanosa says it reminds her of a different time in South Texas's past. About 100 years ago, when rich landowners and politicians in the lower Rio Grande Valley tried to lure white settlers to the region to farm. The lower valley was majority Tejano, Mexican Americans who had lived there before Texas was even a state, and it still is today.
They advertised our low-income people as cheap workforce and cheap land, come here and exploit.
Since Musk's arrival, the launching site and the SpaceX campus have grown, much faster than Hanosa and the Medranos ever imagined.
Never did we think that they would be taking over the entire area. It was just Elon Musk is going to come in, he's going to build a little pad, he's going to have a launch, and that's it. But now it's totally different than what was explained.
So they came in, they told these people, hey, we just going to build a little small rocket to help, you know what I'm saying, to do some little SpaceX stuff, to do some little exploration or whatever. Nothing major. It ain't going to affect nobody's life. We going to bring some jobs. Then next thing you know, they getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's out of your control. They taking all the government money. All this money they funneling into going out of space, and then they want to come to us and complain, say, hey, we trillions of dollars in debts. We gotta cut spending everywhere else except for going to Mars. Mars is not a priority. Mars is not a priority. The American people are a priority.
The thing that bothers the Medranos the most is that they can rarely go to Boca Chica Beach, a beach the state of Texas and the city of Brownsville promised the public would be able to visit. The Texas state constitution guarantees access to all public beaches, but in 2013, the state amended the Texas Open Beaches Act to carve out space activity. Now the state is free to close the beach anytime SpaceX wants to launch a rocket.
Now look at all this debris and all this stuff like this. Does this not affect the community? These people can't go to their own beach no more?
And it turns out that's a lot.
They'll send a text and they'll say Boca Chica Beach is now closed. And if we're planning to go out there, that's it. Unpack everything. And then 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'll get another text. Boca Chica Beach is now open. Well, who's going to go out there at 10 o'clock at night?
You're on their time, you're on SpaceX time.
Local people call Boca Chica Beach the poor people's beach because this is where people come to fish. We come to the beach with our families because it was free and open to the public. And
the Gulf of America, everybody's cheering, yeah, the Gulf of America. You can't even go to the fucking beach now. Your taxpayer dollar is supposed to give you access to public beaches. They took a public beach and made it private for a foreigner.
And SpaceX is changing all of that rapidly.
Boca Chica Beach is not only a popular spot for fishing and swimming, it's also a complex ecosystem, one of the most biologically diverse in North America, and home to endangered and protected species, including the ocelot, sea turtles, and the piping plover.
SpaceX is trampling over this entire site, singeing the wildlife, burning down part of the wildlife refuge. This region, most of the native habitat has been destroyed because of real estate development, industrialization, farming. We only have 3% left, and that 3% is being destroyed by SpaceX.
Hinosa co-founded the Texas Environmental Justice Center, and along with other national and local environmental organizations, is suing the FAA and SpaceX for...
Now, I need y'all to pay attention to what she just said. They are suing the FAA and SpaceX, right? What just happened to the head of the head of the FAA? He stepped down. The regulation, anything that can regulate SpaceX has been shut down by Elon Musk because he has that power now. Anybody that was in his way, he can get them out the way now and do whatever he wants to.
For violation of the National Environmental Organizations, is suing the FAA and SpaceX for violation of the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. In order to build on the site, Musk had to do a thorough environmental impact statement, or EIS, under the National Environmental Protection Act. These reports are really comprehensive. They include impacts to air quality, carbon emissions, water usage, wildlife protection, as well as cultural and economic impacts. Initially, SpaceX got approval to launch the Falcon 9, a reliable and after years of testing, safe rocket that takes cargo into lower orbit. But in 2018, SpaceX announced they would be launching the Starship Super Heavy.
So they started out just saying, hey, we just gonna use this little old rocket right here. It ain't gonna do too much. Then in 2018, when Trump was president, hey, let's upgrade. We're gonna upgrade. But we need to get all these regulations out the way. All these people talking about their water and talking about the pollution and all that. Fuck your pollution, fuck your water, fuck all that. We trying to get to Mars. And we trying to get to Mars fast. Now, why is this thing being pushed so fast?
A rocket 20% larger than the Falcon 9 with 10 times the thrust. In a press conference, Musk said they would be testing their new rocket in Texas instead of the Kennedy Center in Florida because
He's got a lot of land with nobody around, and so if it blows up, it's cool.
What? So instead of doing it in Florida where they got, plenty of land to do it at, he decided to do it there because he said, hey, it ain't shit around there. Shit. Fuck them people in their beach.
Conference, Musk said they would be testing their new rocket in Texas instead of the Kennedy Center in Florida because
He's got a lot of land with nobody around, and so if it blows up, it's cool. If it blows up, it's cool.
This is a perfect example of a time the FAA should have conducted a second EIS, but instead did a simplified environmental assessment, or EA. Officials concluded that there would be no significant impact of launching this much larger rocket from Boca Chica Beach. That same year, before a single rocket took flight, SpaceX started a fire during an engine test that engulfed 68 acres of brushland in flames and
68 acres, y'all. The first shit that they did when they put this new rocket out there, that bitch set on fire 68 acres. We didn't see this on the news, did we? Let me play that back for y'all.
Officials concluded that there would be no significant impact of launching this much larger rocket from Boca Chica Beach. That same year, before a single rocket took flight, SpaceX started a fire during an engine test that engulfed 68 acres of brushland in flames and burned through the night. In spite of this, the first launch of Starship was scheduled for April 20th, 2023, aka Weed Day. Here's how the launch was supposed to go. Starship was meant to orbit the Earth, with the booster landing in the Gulf of Mexico and the spaceship re-entering the atmosphere and landing in the Pacific Ocean. Instead, the launch pad exploded, sending debris across Boca Chica Beach and scorching more than 3 acres of land. A dust cloud poured over the nearby Port Isabel. Buildings shook, a window shattered.
Holy crap! Rocket is launching. See it on the ladder. It's like a soot. Big old layer cake of it. And they're trying to tell us it's sand.
SpaceX hadn't installed flame diverters, or a simple and very necessary water deluge system, sending shards of concrete and rebar all across the beach. The spaceship also failed to separate from the booster.
The entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now.
And spiraled in orbit before exploding and landing into the Gulf of Mexico.
The Gulf of America. Get it right. So, they're sending rockets out there and them bitches are exploding in the air. This has no impact on the community, so they say. No impact on the environment, so they say. These are your taxpayer dollars blowing up in the air, y'all.
Elon looked disappointed, but SpaceX assured viewers it was a success.
You never know exactly what's going to happen, but as we promised, excitement is guaranteed.
What Elon Musk and what SpaceX tells people is that we are so efficient, we have to develop our rockets by just testing them in the real world. We're not going to use as many computer models to make sure that everything's perfect. And if it blows up, then we're going to get even more data. It's actually good if it blows up.
Eric Roche is an environmental engineer who writes about SpaceX at his blog ESG Hound.
Those failures have externalities. Every time you launch a rocket, there's a sound wave, there's pollution, you are disrupting people's way of life.
Roche documented the damage after that first launch. Burned nests and eggs, dust and chunks of concrete, and scraps of metal on the beach.
NASA launches mostly from Kennedy Space Center, which is thousands of acres that was allocated by Congress. And so it has a buffer built in. Whereas SpaceX's launch site in Boca Chica is a tiny little spot of land, and it's surrounded by land that they don't own. It's very close to populated areas. And so those externalities are going to be magnified just by orders of magnitude.
That's the difference between the Kennedy Space Center down here in Florida and where SpaceX is. There's plenty of room in Florida. They got hundreds of acres to deal with that. Compared to SpaceX shooting off rockets near the local population. They're dealing with toxins, pollutant, everything, shit killing your animals. It's in your seawater, everything.
The Kennedy Space Center was built using eminent domain, approved by Congress in 1964. But Musk hasn't gone through that same process. He's just slowly expanding the scale and scope of his operation. Roche says it's eminent domain by fiat.
I have never experienced an earthquake until SpaceX. The earthquake that I experienced in my apartment, which is over 20 miles away, is an earthquake caused by a billionaire.
Before Musk could launch again, the FAA grounded the Starship and launched an investigation, conducted by SpaceX, but overseen by the FAA. They found 63 things that needed to be changed before the Starship could launch again. Musk and his fans goaded officials on Twitter, which Musk owns and has renamed X.com. The investigation closed in September, and the second launch was in November 2023. It was another failure.
The Super Heavy booster has just experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
But in 2024, during Starship's 5th flight, the reusable booster separated and returned to the launch tower, which was a...
Now, I think this is the one that we saw, and the one that Trump had, was definitely proud of. And we all seen it and thought it was amazing. But we still don't know the effects of the environment that it'll take.
Major accomplishment for SpaceX. However, not a single one of the launches has successfully gotten cargo into orbit. Musk continued to publicly beef with...
Hold on, let her play that again. None of them has successfully been in orbit. Hold up, play that again. Let me play that again.
to the launch tower, which was a major accomplishment for SpaceX. However, not a single one of the launches has successfully gotten cargo into orbit. Musk continued to publicly beef with the FAA, and in September 2024, the FAA charged SpaceX $633,000.
The FAA proposed a $633,000, a civil penalty against SpaceX. Now, Musk also asked the leader of FAA to step down. All of a sudden, he's gone.
For safety violations at its Cape Canaveral station. Musk threatened to sue and return, but never did. As the 2024 election approached, he became increasingly vocal that a Trump victory would free SpaceX from unnecessary regulation.
Exactly. Because now you put him in charge of the U.S. currency, U.S. Treasury. And he's getting rid of everything that he feels like is stopping him from making more money. But he's taking away money from the American people. All these people are losing their jobs for his mission to go to Mars.
I feel more optimistic about it with the Trump White House. The biggest impediment to progress that we're experiencing is overregulation. The bureaucracy in the U.S.
The biggest problem they're facing is over-regulation. That's because it wasn't meant for a space rocket program to be privatized. Listen to what he says again.
I feel more optimistic about it with the Trump White House. The biggest impediment to progress that we're experiencing is overregulation. The bureaucracy in the U.S. has been growing every year.
And after Trump took office, the head of the FAA, Michael Whitaker, stepped down after serving only 15 months of his 5-year tenure. Musk had told him to resign on Twitter just a few months before. We went to Texas in January 2025, just as SpaceX was gearing up for their 7th launch of the Starship. Before every launch, people come from all over the country to tailgate, talk rockets, and perform light shows with their Cybertrucks.
The idea of colonizing the moon and going to Mars is also just really inspiring.
And it's inevitable. I think the Earth is not infinite in its resources, so we got to start looking elsewhere.
Now you see the dumb shit that people will say. Do you think that these people will ever experience going to Mars or benefit anything from us going to Mars? They cry about our tax dollars, how we trillions of dollars in debt. But nobody is saying anything about the trillions of dollars that we're funneling into this SpaceX program. All this wasteful spending that they're talking about. Not one time will they mention how much of our taxpayer money is going towards this space race. The reason that the Soviet Union collapsed was one of the reasons was because of the space race. So it looked like we're on the same path of, a space race that can bankrupt this country.
That same week, the FAA was hosting a public forum to talk about SpaceX, increasing the number of launches a year from 5 to 25. Both Madranos and Becca Hinosa were there.
An EA is a concise document used to describe the anticipated environmental impacts.
Residents were able to talk to SpaceX representatives and make comments to a court reporter. They asked about damages to their foundations and windows. They wanted to know how 25 launches a year would impact the fisheries and the wildlife.
The information that they're giving us is based on the 5. Not on the 2022. So that's also assuming that the climate is going to stay the same.
The window. It takes about 30 seconds. It can be shaken here, but it's not expected to cause any serious damage to the houses.
25 makes me laugh, I mean, they had a hard...
So they went from 5 launches and telling people, hey, it's not going to be much of an impact. Now they upped it to 25 launches. People are already complaining about the pollution. People are complaining about the house shaking, the windows breaking. And they say, oh, no, don't worry about it. We good. Y'all good. Y'all good. Hell, move.
Climate is going to stay the same.
The window. It takes about 30 seconds. It can be shaken here, but it's not expected to cause any serious damage to the houses.
25 makes me laugh, you know? I mean, they had a hard time just with 5 or 6 and keeping all the debris that fall in the Gulf or fall in the Bay or fall wherever it falls.
The FAA told us there wasn't a significant impact. We know that's not true. And what it looks like is the FAA, once again, just making steps to give SpaceX whatever license they want.
Well, now that the administrator is stepped down, and now, you know, Elon and Trump can put whoever they want there, you think there's going to be any more regulations? Hell no. We got planes crashing into each other. We got planes falling straight out of the sky. Or, I ain't gonna say falling straight out of the sky. Their landing and their taking off has been a little questionable. Colliding with other, you know, planes. Because we're getting rid of DEI. But we're firing people that ain't got shit to do with DEI.
The FAA still hasn't announced whether or not SpaceX will be allowed to launch 25 times a year. The 7th launch was late, a week late. So the beach was closed on Friday, and then Saturday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when the rocket finally launched. It ended with an explosion over Turks and Caicos.
The vehicle just exploded. The stunning aftermath could be seen by passengers on a plane. This same flight to Miami was rerouted to avoid the debris. Other flights were also diverted.
The FAA ground SpaceX again. In December 2024, SpaceX made another surprise announcement. They would apply to incorporate the town of Starbase. For Starbase to become a town, they'll need 201 residents and a majority vote. Luckily for the future town of Starbase, the vast majority of residents in Boca Chica Village are now SpaceX employees that rent from their boss. As SpaceX was developing the Starship, they were also buying up houses in a tiny unincorporated resort town just a few miles from Boca Chica Beach. Boca Chica Village had just 38 houses, mostly occupied by part-time residents that winter in Texas. In 2019, SpaceX offered to buy out all of the residents, saying that with new FAA safety regulations.
Now, I wonder if they was actually paying these people the value of their homes, or they were just trying to chump them off.
It wasn't safe for people to stay in the village.
This letter that SpaceX sent out is more of a bully attack, a hostile takeover.
But at the same time, SpaceX was moving their employees into town and expanding. Soon there were Airstream trailers lining the block, and a new name for the street that was once called Weem Street. Meme Street. If incorporated, Starbase could fund its own utilities, infrastructure, or security forces, and it could create its own local ordinances. It would no longer be a part of Brownsville.
It's one thing to come and try to work hand in hand with the community that's here, but it's another thing to absolutely, and I see this, the actual takeover of everything.
SpaceX has already proven to be a bad neighbor, and that's why most of us don't want it anymore.
You're gonna see Elon Musk a lot in the news these days for his role in dismantling key parts of our federal government.
Now, look at the key parts of the federal government that's being dismantled. A lot of them have to do with people who block him from what he does. People who make, well, not people, but industries or entities that make rules and regulations that block him from making more money. And with this money, we're not just talking about SpaceX, because we're about to get into the Neuralink. We're about to get into the robots. We're about to get into the driving cars, everything that can put your ass out of work. All the money that they're trimming out. This is not making America great again, because we never been in a world where we've been policed by robots. We never been in a world where we can't drive ourselves. We never been in a world where fucking the water is polluted, the air is polluted, and we got the richest people that can get on a rocket and fly around the world while the world is bombing each other. That's not America.
Government. But the real purpose of Doge isn't efficiency, it's deregulation. Musk has shown he wants no oversight for himself or other billionaires like him. The story of Boca Chica is crucial to understanding Musk's playbook for seizing public resources and justifying his campaign as part of a grand vision for humanity, whether that's landing on Mars or creating a more efficient government, a revolution for the people, as he's called it.
I wonder, like, in 10 years, when he's done with whatever he's going to be doing, what's going to happen to this area? Who's going to pick up all this mess? Who's going to clean it up?
Thanks for watching The Classroom for more Perfect Union. We cover
People
the
ask me all
small
the time.
and large ways that the 1% are reshaping our world. Boca Chica.
My bad. So that's all I want to show when it came to SpaceX. You know, we don't all have to agree. I want to show the information about what our taxpayer dollars are going to, especially when it comes from a person that's cutting out so many federal programs and telling us this is misused money. But what are we spending our money on? What is the government comfortable with spending money on? So we see, for one, the government, and that's the left or the right, because I showed y'all a lot of that shit happened under Obama and Bush and Trump, and it would have and Biden. I'm sorry, Biden, Trump, Bush, Obama. Now they're pushing a little bit more forward now. Salute to Jimmy McFly. So now I want to go to what else the government is quick to give money to do research on and to move forward with. And that's going to be the Neuralink. So how many of y'all have heard of Neuralink? How many of y'all have heard of the brain chip that Elon Musk is also involved with? Everybody knows about the rockets. How many people are familiar with the brain chip? Everybody was talking about the chip in the hand or the chip in the body or wherever you thought the chip might be. So let's get a little information about this chip by Elon Musk. This is the person that's going to have control over American money, American currency, the national treasury. So he's going to do with the money what he thinks is important, right? Do we all agree that now that Elon Musk and Doge is in control of our spending, that he most likely is going to push spending and regulations towards what he thinks is important? Can we all agree to that? Even somebody that think that I might be a Trump hater or whatever, even you got to agree that a person is going to invest in what they think is important if they're in control of the money. So let's look at Neuralink, something else that the government think is important to put money behind, because they say that we're overspending, right? We're in this big old deficit where, you know, trillions of dollars. We need to make some useful cuts. I mean, we need to cut some wasteful spending. That's what they're telling us, right? We need to cut wasteful spending because we need to be putting money, investing money into things that they think that, you know, is important. So let's see what they think is important.
Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain chip company, recently pushed back on claims that it violated animal welfare.
Oh, hold up. So this is the Neuralink. Now, when you see Elon Musk attacking regulations when it comes to animal cruelty and stuff, and y'all see all of these government firings, all this purging of federal employees, they come from a lot of these entities that blocks Elon from doing these type of things. Flying rockets back and forth, you know, financing them, regulating the pollution and stuff that it causes, the damage that it causing, being able to mind control people, having driving cars, having, you know, robots that have babies, all of this shit. all of this points to getting rid of society, getting rid of humanity, and repopulating the earth. That's what it points to me. Or controlling the mind of the people. Now look at these chips, y'all. This is nothing made up. You can go research this yourself.
Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain chip company, recently pushed back on claims that it violated animal welfare laws a few years ago while testing on monkeys. This year, the company plans to test on human subjects. But when it does, what would this major step mean for brain implant science in subjects?
Now, they went from testing on monkeys, and he was getting complaints about, endangering monkeys. Now he want to put it on humans. I don't know how much they would have paid for this clinical study. How much they would have paid? How much y'all would have took to go do a clinic study on with this brain chip? Could they paid you $100,000 to come and put a chip in your brain? Maybe $1 million to put a chip in your brain. Be a guinea pig. Let me know if you would have took $1 million to be a guinea pig.
But when it does, what would this major step mean for brain implant science?
Academics like me have conducted clinical trials in people with brain implants.
Dr. Paul Nyajukian is a professor of bioengineering and neurosurgery. He directs the brain interfacing laboratory at Stanford.
For about 20 years now. Academic research brain implants, up until this point, more or less, have almost exclusively been with wires. The difference that the N1 has,
so they pretty much saying that the ones, they've been working on this way before Elon. It's just that he's gotten more into it. But they used to do it with wires. So I think what Elon is bringing to the table is to make this thing wireless. Say 10 million Democrats spent on transgender animal research. Here, let me see about that. Did Democrats spend 10 million on animal transgender research? Okay, Fox News. Can't listen to Fox News. They've been sued for lying. Okay, so I see some articles about it. Let's see. Fed spent millions to create transgender. And you're making my point. I hope you don't think that you're throwing something out there, because if you've been here, you would have heard me say this is something that's been done on both sides. It's our government. Now, what they think is important in spending money on and what another think that's important in spending money on is two different things. I don't see a credible source on it, but I'll come back and look back at that. I'll come back and look back at that for you. But I don't see a credible source for it. But I definitely look more into it, 'cause I want to know about it too. I want to know more about it too. But I do know within a month, Trump has spent $10 million golfing, and we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about some government wasteful. If we're going to talk about wasteful spending, we're going to talk about all this wasteful golfing. But let's finish with this brain chip first. Shout out to the chat. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button.
Neuralink, it's fully implantable, it is battery powered, it is wireless. All of this is being done over Bluetooth protocol.
Let's dive into the science behind Neuralink to understand how
it's simply been brain implant
at Stanford.
For about 20 years now. Academic research brain implants, up until this point, more or less, have almost exclusively been with wires. The difference that the N1 has, that the Neuralink, it's fully implantable, it is battery powered, it is wireless. All of this is being done over Bluetooth protocol.
Let's dive into the science behind Neuralink to understand how exactly human brain chips work.
So in order for us to, you know, agree or disagree to this brain chip, we need to at least know what they're telling us is going to be used for. Now, from my understanding, and maybe y'all might get something different out of what we about to watch, my understanding is they want to make this so, like, say a person is paralyzed. And you know when you're paralyzed is because of nerves in your brain that's not clicking. So they're saying that they're making this so if a person is paralyzed or something like that, they can use this to get their, you know, movement back. Or that you can just use this to make life easier, what they say is easier for you. If I'm looking at my computer right now, all I got to do is think. Everything that I think, it'll do into the computer. So that's, and they want it to be Bluetooth. So when somebody call you, it just automatically come in your head. Hey, what's up? You call me right now. Hey, what's up? Yeah. You know, you have your conversation. You ain't got to touch nothing. Everything is in your head. Whatever you think of, it happens. That's the technology Elon is moving into. And I'm believing that our government will be willing to take our taxpayer monies and fund until we all liquidate it out. And then they'll just cause some mass casualty and just hit the reset button, in my opinion. Right. So before we just say, oh, nah, everybody gonna get it. Now, I think there'll be a point where they'll convince everybody to get it, like a cell phone or whatever, because nobody's gonna want to be left out. Or putting a chip in your brain. Because it's gonna get more and more sophisticated as it goes.
The science behind how these implants work is not that different from how you would go about trying to measure the energy from a AA battery.
Now that's interesting he said that. So while we got a little commercial, but no, I'll go ahead. Okay.
Principle that we're doing with these brain implants. This is called neuroelectrophysiological recording. When you move your arm to the right, certain sets of neurons are activated in a certain pattern. Listening in to that activity and that pattern, you can predict very quickly which direction the arm is going to move. These are the neurons that are directly wired to your muscle.
Unless...
Now, in case, you didn't comprehend that, it's pretty much saying your nerves are connected to muscles in your body. So when you want to do this and you think about it, it's a certain nerve in your brain that would allow you to move your arm left or right. So what they're trying to put in your brain is something that, just the thought of it, whether you can physically do it or not, you're pretty much a zombie.
That pathway from the brain to the spinal cord to the muscle is damaged, the way it is in patients with paralysis.
That pathway is damaged, then the neural signals, the signals from the brain, aren't going to get down to move the muscles. But in many cases, the signals are still present in the brain. They're just not getting out. So if you reach in and put something that listens in to those neurons, then you know what's happening to the muscle.
And that's the goal of a brain implant. Now let's look at a timeline of brain interface breakthroughs over the years.
So before everybody was like, nah, why they should be making this? I mean, this sounds, in a nutshell, like a great thing. Like, damn, if I'm paralyzed or something, you telling me that, I can get the feeling back in if you a person that can't walk, it'll be hard to tell you not to put this chip in your brain to make you walk. Right? But then they like to add more shit to it. At first it just starts with, trying to get people the muscle back and all that. And then it turns into other shit, in my opinion.
Control in monkeys took place. 2008, a monkey controlling a robotic arm in 3 dimensions fed itself. 2012, the first brain-controlled robotic arm by a human. 2017, a human controlled a cursor mentally to type out words and sentences. Dr. Newjukian was part of this study, as well as the one in 2018, where a human subject mentally controlled a tablet to do things like browse the web.
Now, I need y'all to think about this. Didn't they say in 2008 when the monkey got his shit? That means that this kind of research and this type of ideal has been going on for a long time. This ain't nothing new.
Send emails and play games or music.
All that's been done with a couple hundred electrodes.
But in 2019, Neuralink, a private company, changed the game when it unveiled a pig named Gertrude with a wireless implant that
So they've been doing this, but they've been doing it as the government. Now you have a private person that's doing it. So now we as the people, we have to flip the coin. We got to be like, do we trust the government or do we trust a private person? Do we trust, a South African, a white South African that became a billionaire? He was already rich, but he wasn't a billionaire. Do we just trust the richest people in the world to rule over us? Or do we trust a government that's supposed to be of the people, by the people, but it has gotten a little slimy. It has gotten very suspect. And I know everybody would say neither. But what choice do you have? You're living in an environment where, you've been surveillance 24 hours a day, or you will be. Have y'all heard about the glasses that when you pass by somebody, you get every bit of their information? Yeah, they got some new glasses that they're making when you pass by somebody. Everything that's in the system about them. Y'all know how people can dox you by going to been verified and all of that shit like that. They won't have to do all that no more. All somebody got to do is walk past you with these glasses on. They call meta glasses. Yep. All the information you got on Facebook, all the information you got on Instagram, any addresses, phone numbers, anything that's in the system about you. You can pass by a motherfucker just randomly. So which world are you trying to live in? Are you going to be living in a world where you're going to be around people? Because that's what people are going to do. You living in a world where you're going to need the currency to feed yourself? But if they destroy the environment around you, there's no animals, there's no growing plants. So now you depend on, I guess you could say the government, but it's not the government no more. Because there's only one person that's, ruling. I think they were trying to call it a one world order. New world order. That's what they was trying to call it.
Monitored about 1,000 neurons.
The neurons are like wiring, and you kind of need an electronic thing to solve an electronic problem.
That was a very interesting moment because it signaled to the community that they're serious. They're investing. They're building hardware from scratch, and they're putting it in large animals. For the pig, the electrodes were implanted in somatosensory cortex.
Now, what if you get this type of technology into the wrong hands? That's my concern, right? So say Elon is a good guy. He wants to do it for the better of the good. But say when he passes away, his son is not so much a good guy. Or say we got somebody that's putting this type of technology into some lions or bears or some type of animal, and you got a bear, but you got a person thinking for a bear. Y'all know how like in Mortal Kombat, like the people can turn into different characters and shit every now and then? Like, I don't know if I'm just thinking too far off, but I mean, wouldn't that be possible? If you're talking about some Bluetooth mind control neural chips, what if somebody hacks into your neural chip? Because they're saying they're gonna be Bluetooth, right? What comes with technology? Hackers. What if a motherfucker hack into your motherfucking brain chip? I'm just saying.
allowing them to measure sensory activity, like that of taking a step. Every time that particular neuron they
Or even worse, what if the government hacks into your shit? What if they put a code in your shit? What if somebody put a code in your shit and it's working fine at first? You gotta trust the motherfucker that's putting it in there. You can't put that bitch in there yourself.
were listening to fired, you would hear this little pop or click from the audio channel. And so the moment I heard it, right, it's like, oh yeah, they got neurons. You just recognize it instantly. You know what neurons sound like if you've been listening to them for decades. And that's what they were communicating, right? They were telling the field, we've got neurons. Pay attention.
And overnight, it seemed the industry took notice. Then, in April of 2021, Neuralink released the so-called Mind Pong video.
Pager was the name. It's a rhesus macaque, which is, the type of monkey that is very commonly used in this field.
I'm gonna take a slight detour because as I'm looking at this, I'm just wondering how much does the government invest in this stuff? So, in particular, I want to know what's invested in it right now. So let's take a Google check real quick. Let me ask Google. How much government money has been spent on Neuralink? All right, so let's click over here real quick. We'll come back to the video that explains more about Neuralink. All right, so a quick Google search is going to tell us this, and this is not, 100% accurate. I know a lot of y'all don't like Google, but we'll look at a couple of sources from Google, though. Anyway, as of current information, no government money has directly been let's see. That ain't doing me no good. How much does one Neuralink cost? $10,500 for one Neuralink. How much money has been invested in Neuralink? The company's latest round of funding worth $280 million came shortly after Algorithm reported that it was led by Founders Fund. Okay, so no government money has been put into Neuralink, y'all. That's a good thing. The filing was amended in 2023 to reflect the additional $43 million, bringing the total $328 million. Reuters reported that it was led by Founders Fund. I wonder who the fuck Founders Fund is. So it's been having fundraisers and shit like that. It raised 200. It has been under some regulations from the FDA, which is the Federal Drug. I think it's the Federal Drug Association. So it's sitting on Neuralink, $280 million funding is the largest yet, following the FDA green light. So the FDA gave them a green light, I believe, but I think they still hit them with some regulations that they definitely don't want in the way. Total funding for the company has reached $550 million, but there's still a way to go before reaching the market. Elon's brain implant company Neuralink has its largest capital financing round yet, raising $280 million, a bid led by Peter Thiel's Founders Fund. It receives U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Okay, that's what it is. Food and Drug Administration approval for human testing a flagship product. Now, I don't think Elon necessarily needs taxpayer money for this, but the approval of the FDA to do shit more on humans and how far they can go, I think that's more the concern that that might be in Elon's way. And I believe let's see, I believe somebody stepped down from the FDA also. Who has been fired from the FDA? Okay, U.S. this week, the FDA layoffs, resignations, and more. Okay, let's look at who done lost their job in the FDA within the last couple of weeks. FDA layoffs. Just like FAA layoffs when it came to the rockets. This week at FDA layoffs, resignations, and more. And this is the regular, where are we at right now? Regulatory focus. Okay. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. I don't want to have to read all this, so I'm gonna kind of proofread through it real quick. Okay, here it is. His name is Jim Jones. The FDA's Deputy Commissioner of Foods resigned in protest of 89 members of his center were fired, saying the dispute in the administration's talk of improving well-being of Americans. The firing had decimated the agency's ability to. Okay, so that didn't have to do with that, but the FDA is over foods and all kind of shit like that. But I guess the Neuralink would be considered a drug. I don't know why. Why would Neuralink be under the FDA? That don't make fucking sense. So I don't know. But a lot of people got fired by goddamn Robert F. Kennedy when it comes to the food for the FDA when it comes to the food department, and it made the Deputy Commissioner for Foods resign. So that's wild that they got this under the FDA though. So let's go back to that video. We just learned something new together. If y'all ain't already know that, because I didn't. I don't see the reason that the FDA would be behind, experiments like this. Or have to approve of experiments like this.
Which is, the type of monkey that is very commonly used in this field. Implanted with 2 of the N1.
If you're not doing bodyweight strength, you're nuts.
Neuralink devices performing brain control of a cursor on a screen. That's extremely significant because here Neuralink is showing their new hardware, their new device in their hands works in a monkey. That's the level that's necessary to convince the scientific community, to convince the FDA that you're ready to go into human clinical trials.
And again, I don't understand why the Food Drug Administration would be in approval of a motherfucker could put a chip in your brain or not. But this shows that the government was already doing it, but they couldn't figure it out. And now you have privatized, a private company come around. They're telling you they can figure it out, but the government got to approve what it is that they can do and how far they can go. Now we're getting in a position where nobody's going to tell you how far you can go with what you want to experiment on because you just dismantled the government and the overseers. So whether you feel like that's a good thing or a bad thing, I really don't know. I just feel like if it gets in the wrong hands, it could be, but hell, who is to say that the government ain't in the wrong hands? Right? But this is what's happening right now.
That's the evidence the FDA is looking for.
The recording power of the N1 device and pager was eye-opening because of the sheer number of individual electrodes that had been implanted.
There was definitely a lot of clever engineering that went into that to build a device that can transmit 2048 electrodes worth of spiking information, right, of digital ones and zeros of spikes over a radio wirelessly. And when you have
You say you don't see the point. The point of what though? Like I think that what they got planned, we won't be able to fully catch on to it until it's too late. You know, so but we do see a lot of things that we're like, what? It started out with trying to help people move their arms if they're paralyzed and everything. Now we're trying to make monkeys play video games, and we want people to be able to look at computers and move it with their brain and stuff like that. So it done went a little farther than just, you know, health-wise. And why wouldn't this type of shit be under some type of health program if it's in, you know, if it's been having the government oversee? I would think this would be in the HHS. Is that what it's called? The Health Administration?
Have that many channels, the performance that you should be able to get should eclipse what we've been able to do in the academic field. You know, the maximum.
And don't get it twisted, y'all. I'm learning with y'all. It's just that I'm just, you know, just kind of doing some stuff right in front of y'all. Some of the stuff I've already looked over, but sometimes you have to go over shit multiple times. And not just videos, like I say, you go through multiple sources or whatever, and you know, you learn what you learn. You could take your own opinion from there, because nobody can tell you different from your opinion. But we can at least observe what's documented. This is really what's going on.
Maximum number of electrodes I've ever recorded from is 200 to 300.
So with all those electrodes, how does a device like the N1 get implanted in a subject's brain?
Make no mistake, this is neurosurgery. It is not a joke. This requires cutting the skin.
Find a pet-friendly Italian restaurant.
So, I mean, neurosurgery is already a thing. We already know that, you know, if you paralyzed, some people have strokes or whatever. If you got the money, you can get yourself back right. But, you know, the technology is moving forward. But it's like they're going a little, you know, further with the technology. But like he's saying, you know, this is pretty much brain surgery.
Neurosurgery. It is not a joke. This requires cutting the skin, getting down to skull, drilling a hole in the skull, exposing what's called the dura, which is this protective layer of tissue that surrounds the brain, cutting the dura, folding it back to expose the brain, and then you get to the surface of the brain where you can implant the electrodes. The biggest risks with these types of techniques are infection, bleeding, and tissue damage.
So what would it take?
Wow. These motherfuckers literally putting this bitch on your brain.
For the FDA to approve clinical trials in humans.
The Neuralink device.
Why is the FDA over this? Now, I can agree with Elon. This don't make no fucking sense. Yeah. See, now the more you kind of get into this, some things you can see that doesn't make sense. If you're going to dismantle it and put some of these things in the rightful place, I'm okay with that. But I don't see why all the, you know, a bunch of employees are losing, you know, their position if they're just not in a mindset of the same political boat with you. Yeah, they definitely all in it together. Because like I say, this been going on for the longest. It's just been, you know, something that the government only do. So now we have it going on in a private sector. And like I say, it just depends on the character of the person that, you know, that's gotten in this position. And right now we're dealing with Trump and Elon. We got to depend on what we think their morals and principles are to using this type of technology and the type of funding that goes into this stuff. Will they pump more into this type of stuff so they could privatize it, you know, just profit from it? Only the billionaires profit from shit like this. If you can afford this type of shit. When it comes to the SpaceX, the robots, the brain surgery, and the fucking everybody having chips in their head. Or not just everybody, just rich people if you want it, or certain people, whoever the fuck want it. I don't know. But like I say, government money is not into this right now, but I wouldn't put it past that this would be the next step.
Are called class 3 medical devices. They are implantable and they're going into very sensitive body cavities. That is the highest level of scrutiny that the FDA assigns to medical devices. They don't have a predecessor. There's no previous example that's approved. And so, very appropriately, they got a high bar they have to cross in order to get it approved. So what Neuralink...
Exactly. Now you got this high bar. So you got pretty much Elon Musk trying to do something that nobody has ever done before. The risk of this is astronomical. The risk of this shit is just out of this motherfucking universe. If I was the commissioner, I was the fucking head guy of the FDA who is in charge of approving you doing some shit like this, I was like, hell, fuck nah. We're doing too much. And I don't think they're wrong for that. You know what I'm saying? Because as a citizen, shit, this is some shit we need to be voting on. Yeah, we want more technology. We want to be able to help, I don't know, man. This is a hard one, y'all. Do y'all think we should go this route? Next level technology? Well, we can put brain implants in animals and people, and we got a Bluetooth brain implant. It used to be you had to have a brain implant and you had to have everything wired to you. But they're talking about a Bluetooth. That means you can start moving around. You can start pretty much making a human robot. And, you got the government trying to put a cap on it. And then now you get people in position to say, okay, now we're in position. Now we're only going to put people in position that'll approve me going to the next level of this Neuralink, me pushing the boundaries. That's because that's what Doge is doing right now, in my opinion. They can go through every one of these systematic entities, and anybody that's going to stand in their way of pushing the boundaries of mankind, whether it comes to SpaceX, these brain chips, these driving cars that they don't, that the fucking DOT is saying, nah, man, we can't put them cars on the road like that. Them bitches crashing and blowing up. All right, we got power now. Get the fuck out the way. We can put out whatever the fuck we want to. When it comes to pollution and all that, we sending rockets out from all over the fucking place. Fuck the pollution. So yeah, we dismantling some shit because we're worrying about gay kids and LGBTQ shit and transgender dogs and all that crazy shit. But what's really under the surface is way more important. And I'm not saying your vote can go do anything. I'm just saying, well, hell, we just at least pay attention. Ain't shit we can do now. Fuck all that vote shit. Ain't no more voting. You count to that shit. This is what's going on. It don't matter who doing it. This is what's going on. Just either gonna be done by a private person or the government. And we don't know who the fuck that is.
Neuralink has to do next is prepare a very long and technical document with all the evidence from animal studies that their device is safe and effective. This document is submitted to the FDA, who has 90 days to review and give them an answer. If the FDA says yes, then their clinical trial is approved and Neuralink can enroll and recruit human participants. We're on the cusp of a complete paradigm shift. This type of technology has the potential to transform our treatments, not just for stroke and paralysis and degenerative disease, motor degenerative diseases, but also for pretty much every other type of brain disease. from Parkinson's to epilepsy to dementias, Alzheimer's, and even psychiatric disease. Seeing Neuralink and the other companies in this space start an industry around neuroengineering, brain-machine interfaces, neuroprosthetics, has been a tremendous amount of validation for neuroscientists and engineers who have been working in this space for decades. How much happier could the scientific community be than to give birth to an industry?
So pretty much giving birth to an industry of, you know, being able to put a chip in people's brain and, you know, kind of mind control them. And the FDA was in the way of that. So when you hear about employees getting fired, you know what it says, 1,000 FDA employees were laid off across the agency. At least 180 were being paid, at least in part, via user fees collected under the medical device user fee amendments. I don't know what that means, but 1,000 people is a lot of people, y'all. And you got the Health and Human Services calling on it to be reversed, to reverse the firings, arguing that the layoffs will harm both industry and patients. So right now you got people in the, which they just put Robert Kennedy in that place, so he might say fuck it. But he about to fire 600 motherfuckers himself. Let me see if I can. But yeah, so if you wondering why 1,000 people from the FDA might have been fired, yeah, because we need this brain chip to go into circulation without anybody, you know, tripping. Without anybody tripping. Now, let's get into the cars. Because we definitely already know about the Tesla cars and the robot. And let's see what kind of regulations are preventing them from getting where, you know, they want to be at. Well, let me get a good example of this.
When I started.
And, you know, I mean, yes, the robots looks very cool. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to have a robot do all the bullshit work that you wouldn't really want to do? But to what expense? To what expense? I mean, what do you do when the government start making robots? Because I seen something that said that they're planning on making X amount of robots within the next 4 years. I got to go pull that up, but let's take a look at the robot situation that Elon Musk is bringing to the forefront. Oh, salute to you, Brew Like HVAC. Salute, bruh. In the chat, I'm gonna catch the rest on the replay. Y'all be blessed on a good Sunday. Hey man, I appreciate you coming through, bro. I appreciate everybody that came through. I mean, y'all could be anywhere on YouTube, you know, whatever. We just talking about regular old shit that's going on in the world, you know what I mean? And not in a bad way. I'm not saying that any of this shit that Elon Musk is doing is going to be bad. Maybe he got great intentions. But I'm saying if this gets in the hand of somebody that doesn't have great intentions, if this gets in the hand of somebody that does not have great intentions, we in trouble. Your guns can't save you no more, all that shit. Everybody's gonna be out of work because there's nothing that you can't have a robot. I mean, if you can program a robot to do everything that a human can do and learn on the go, you're gonna be in trouble. But let's get a little look at some of these robots.
Expected, Tesla will finally unveil Optimus Gen 3 later this year with incredible improvements, especially in its tasks, which are set to be incredibly useful. Elon compared it to a real-life version of 3PO from Star Wars. But that's not the biggest surprise Elon just revealed about Tesla's humanoid robot. You might not know this, but Elon Musk confirmed that Tesla could produce this robot for just $10,000. And by 2025, thousands of Optimus units will be operational in their factories.
$10,000. $10,000. What can you do? I can afford that. Especially if you put a nigga on a payment plan. $10,000. Now, what can this thing do for $10,000? And if you was a business owner, let's say you own a little coffee shop. Say you own Starbucks, not a little coffee shop. Hell, say Starbucks. Do you think Starbucks will pay a person $10 an hour, $15 an hour, whatever the minimum wage will be? Or do you think they will buy 10 of these, spend $100,000 to do the same fucking job and do it better? They ain't got to give them no break, no time off. All they got to do is pay the technician to come through. $10,000.
These are mind-blowing numbers, and Musk recently reaffirmed the robot's incredibly low price point. So how exactly will Tesla pull this off? And what kind of tasks will the next-gen Optimus...
How it will pull it off? Now you got the government pocketbook. If you got the government pocketbook or the government purse, whatever y'all want, whether you're a male or female, if you got the pocketbook or purse or the purse of the people of the United States, you control who get government funds and who don't. Who is not to say that there about to be some government-funded robots that will do the jobs of the people who do not want to do the jobs or the people that they can't trust? Secret Service. Would you rather be protected by a robot that you program? Meaning like Elon Musk. I bet that motherfucker gonna have robots that protect him. Same thing with the president. They might want to have, robots protecting them instead of people. Then you got self-driving cars. Niggas have a warrant, the car drive you straight to the police station. Drones, Stargate. You got the fucking satellites that control the drones.
Optimus be able to perform? When can we actually buy one? All will be revealed right now. Musk once said that, "Oh my goodness, all these tasks sound amazing." However, we'd bet that very few people actually think or truly believe robots can work in home schools or nursing homes. Will they fall over, run out of battery, or need users to control them? There are countless questions, and many others are still hesitant to.
And every question that people are asking, over time, they're going to make sure that these robots fill in every single one of those check marks. Make sure it never run out of the battery. Make sure it starts charging itself. Can teach your kids. Learn how to lie. Learn how to steal. Learn how to kill. And who is to say that every one of these robots, now that Elon Musk is part of the government and the all-seeing eye, these things won't be monitoring you at all times. So say you do something wrong in the privacy of your own home. Weed's supposed to be illegal, but you smoking some weed. And your robot be the one that lock your ass up. Anything that they perceive that is wrong, your robot watching you the whole fucking time. You thinking you got a helper, but you really got a goddamn snitch. A robot snitch watching you at all times. And whip your ass when you get out of line.
Even ask if the Tesla bot is safe enough. And how does it take care of the kids? Yeah, definitely a lot of questions that still need answering. When it comes to the safety of a robot, we want to clarify that it won't be like what we see in the movies, a group of rebellious robots turning against humans like an iRobot or a Terminator.
Yeah. They wanna dismiss that real quick. They know everybody is making the comparison to the Terminator, iRobot, all of these movies that Hollywood has put in front of us. Demolition Man. Matter of fact, a lot of people say they never seen Demolition Man. Let me find a little clip on that Demolition Man real quick to show y'all what I meant of what I think the future, like, it makes a lot of sense now. Back then when I seen it, I was like, hell nah. I don't see that ever happening. Let's watch this little small clip. And this was made in like early 1990s. Wesley Snipes. And Wesley Snipes was frozen in time, and he came back in the future, and he don't know how none of this technology working. But he was a bad guy in the past, and they sent a cop from the past to the future also to catch him. So he in the future, y'all, and the first day out, he like, man, I need a fucking gun. But they got everything, you know what I'm saying, the self-driving cars and all that shit. So he at the computer trying to get a damn gun, and then he cuss. You get a ticket every time you cuss. So if you cuss 2 times, the police coming to get your motherfucking ass. So in the future, it's like they haven't had to fight no crime. They haven't had to do shit so much because all the robots and everything's been able to do everything for them, and they got society, you know, pretty much on lock, that they don't even know how to handle violence no more. They had the chips in their body, and that's what I forgot to point out for the display. I'm glad you remind me. All the people that had the chips in their body, they act a certain way. They, you know, they was able to stay above ground. But all the people who didn't, they had to savage for food, and they had to live underground. But we ain't gonna watch the whole thing, man. I just thought that was just a good reminder of, you know, the change of times that it could be in the future. That's kind of funny to me, too. Mostly the ticket thing. When you cuss, you know what I'm saying, getting a ticket. But the people who didn't get the chip in them, they, you know, had to live underground. And the people who had it, you know, lived above ground. But let's get back to what we was going over. Uh-oh. Hold up. Let me go back to the video. But what my point was, though, the brain chip, though, is having to be looked over by, you know, the FDA, which that doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, we have the cars. That's what we were on. We were on the cars, the Tesla cars, and the Tesla robot.
In reality, Optimus is going to be a lot more like C-3PO or R2-D2 from Star Wars, a friendly robot playing the role of a homemaker. In recent update videos from Tesla, Optimus has been shown performing basic tasks like watering plants, picking up groceries, cleaning the kitchen, and bringing items from the trunk to the house. Tesla introduces Optimus as a companion designed to safely assist with a variety of household chores, from childcare to helping the elderly.
So let's think about all the jobs that's going to put out of work. The house worker, the house cleaner. You know, so All them people that, you know, clean houses for a living, they gonna be out of work. Shit, a lot of people ain't gonna be looking for no boyfriend, no girlfriend, because hell, if they get these motherfuckers where they can start fucking shit, you really gonna be in trouble. People who work in convenience stores, restaurants, stuff like that. Hell, if they start having them motherfuckers fix air conditioners and putting up ducts, shit, I might be in trouble too. But we already seen the people at the port who's been complaining about, you know, machines replacing them. They're definitely in trouble. What would stop a person that's focus is robots, self-driving cars. Self-driving cars going to put out a lot of taxi cab drivers, Uber drivers, delivery drivers, truckers. We see the priorities of the person that's in control of the money right now. SpaceX, brain chips, robots, self-driving cars, deregulating government. Now, does he have good intentions or bad intentions? That's the question.
Currently, Optimus can engage in natural conversations, befriend the elderly, and answer questions from kids. These features highlight Optimus's potential to integrate into daily life, proving it's not just a useless machine. However, Optimus recently received a next-gen pair of hands, as you can see in the latest video. The new hand design is flawless, and technically, Optimus can now catch a tennis ball with precision. These hands are water-resistant and made from advanced materials that are difficult to collect dust. As you can see, they're quite smooth. This makes it incredibly easy for Optimus to wash its hands after performing tasks. We've noticed that Tesla's constant confirmation that Optimus is still remotely controlled has left many.
Now, they're pretty much showing business owners, hey, if you got a bar, you don't want to have to pay a bartender and all that shit. Here, you could just buy one of these for $10,000. They'll serve all the drinks you need.
Many people feeling confused, with a majority asking, will it be autonomous when it hits the market? In our view, a humanoid robot wouldn't really be useful if you had to program each action individually. This means that when you buy an Optimus, you'd need to train it from scratch, controlling it to perform tasks, and that could be pretty time-consuming, right? However, don't get us wrong. Remote control of Optimus is only used to accelerate research and improve it faster. AI models require vast amounts of data for training, but Tesla Bot doesn't need to do this. If you show the robot enough examples, it'll be able to perform tasks it hasn't been explicitly taught. As Elon said, you just need to show it a video and it will be able to perform the task. Now,
what can go wrong with that? Somebody tell me, what can go wrong with showing a robot how to do something and it go and perform that task when you want it to? What can go wrong? Could you show this robot how to kill somebody and it go do it for you? Can you show it how to snatch somebody up? Can you show this robot how to do anything that, doesn't have good intent? And then you could just blame it on the robot.
we also find it pretty funny that Optimus's speed always comes up for discussion.
Step into Wix Studio.
People see Tesla's Optimus moving. The majority say it kind of walks like a particular US president, which means kind of slow and does not really show off too much agility. Now, naturally, none of us want a robot like that. So over the past couple months, speed and the specific hands of Optimus have been the top priorities for Tesla. As Elon puts it, those two aspects account for half the technical work that needs to be done on Optimus. Now, last year, when Tesla first rolled out the Gen 2 version, Optimus speed was confirmed at about 1.3 miles an hour. Tesla mentioned
that is pretty slow. That motherfucker get on your nerves. You be like, damn, it take that robot so long to get in here.
That this was over a 30% increase from the first generation, but they also admitted that it's still kind of slow. Since then, it's clear that we see Optimus moving a lot faster. According to Milan Kovac, the vice president of Tesla's Optimus division, he mentioned on X that the team has been pretty busy making its walking capabilities stronger before deciding to bring Optimus to the recent We Robot event. While he didn't give out the current speed, we're guessing it's somewhere between 2 to 2.5 miles an hour. As noted in the demo, Optimus is now navigating through areas it's never been to before. It can move continuously without bumping into things, which means it can explore. Essentially, it works much like FSD, that's Full Self-Driving System. You just
How many investigations was Elon Musk under? My bad, y'all. I was muted for a second. I was under... Hold on. My bad, y'all. I was muted for a second. But what I wanted to ask is, so we know about these robots. We know about all the plans and things that Elon Musk, wants to do. And he's having problems with a lot of regulations. So I'm going to ask Google how many under investigations was Elon Musk? How many agencies? Okay, here we go. How many agencies are investigating Elon Musk? So you had the Department of Labor, which oversees the National Labor Relations Board, NLRB, the Office of Federal Contract Compliances Program, OFCCP, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, had over a dozen open investigations into Tesla, SpaceX regarding alleged unfair labor practices and safety violations. So that's how many government agencies had him under investigation. Now let's find out which government agencies have been dismantled. So far, Elon's Department of Government Efficiency Group has made swift work over billionaires go to scale back, dismantle much of the blah, blah, blah. Doge employees who no government experience have been going through data system shutting down, DEI programs, in some cases, whole agencies. I just want to see the agencies. I don't want to see y'all opinion. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go to a different source. These motherfuckers want me to buy a fucking subscription. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so Elon's company were under investigation by 5 inspector generals when Trump administration fired them to make Musk the investigator. Okay, so we heard about all the attorney generals that got fired pretty much the first day of Trump administration. Okay, so yesterday the newly formed House Subcommittee on Delivering on Government Efficiency, which is DOGE, held its first hearing titled The War on Waste. stamping out the scourge of improper payments and fraud. The subcommittee appeared to be a part of an echo chamber attempting to bring legitimacy to Donald Trump tapping his largest campaign donor, billionaire Elon Musk, to lead the effort to gut federal enforcement and regulation agencies to create enough saving to give tax breaks and other perks to the ultra-rich. Well, I think it's more to give tax breaks and stuff to himself and be able to get, the money that he needs for the departments that he need them. Now, it's also, Doge is the same name as his crypto coin. We might need to keep that in mind. Let me see. Okay, so starting here, let's start right here. Okay, during the Doge subcommittee first hearing, Congressman Greg Caesar, Democrat, Texas, revealed that the Inspector General of 5 federal agencies were investigating Musk companies had been fired by the Trump administration last month. Caesar said that the Inspector General of the Department of Labor, y'all, he was under investigation for a lot of practices of, underpaying people losing arms, losing limbs, losing their eye, all type of shit. You know what the Department of Labor cover you for. Make sure you get your workers' comp, or make sure you get, still get paid, or if they was under unsafe practices or whatever, to be able to punish them. So they fired the Inspector General of the Department of Labor, had 17 open investigations into Tesla and SpaceX. Fired them because they had 17 investigations into them, where Musk is the CEO of both and major shareholder. Caesar also called out the Inspector General of the Department of Transportation, who is in control of, what Tesla gonna do with those self-driving cars. They got rid of the Inspector General of the Department of Transportation. He was investigating Tesla when he was fired by the Trump administration. According to Caesar, the Department of Defense Inspector General, we all know that they get a lot of money from the Department of Defense when it comes to SpaceX and those rockets and getting those satellites into space, the drones, all that. They need to remove the people at the top, and they control it from the top. Anybody that was fucking with his business, he getting their ass out the way. Now, Department of Defense Inspector General was looking into SpaceX when he was fired. The investigation was potentially a result of the Wall Street Journal reporting on Musk's use of illegal drugs and secret conversations with Putin. Did y'all hear that? The investigation was potentially a result of the Wall Street Journal's reporting on Musk's use of illegal drugs and secret conversations with Putin. Remember those satellites that they're taking out into space, they're supposed to be able to be crypto, where, they could send cryptic messages that nobody else can see. But he's supposed to be using those satellites to fight, to use drones that fights in the Ukraine war also. So it's almost like he's, on both sides of the war. Also, according to Caesar, the Inspector General of the Department of Agriculture, who was investigating Neuralink, the brain chip. Y'all remember the brain chip we just looked over? They got rid of the Inspector General that was investigating the brain chip that they were trying to do. Another Musk company experimenting with computer brain implants. He got fired. The Inspector General of the EPA for repeatedly taking on Tesla when he was fired. So they got rid of the guy that's in charge of that's investigating the Neuralink, the brain chip. They get rid of the people, the EPA, the people that's telling you, hey, all this fucking shit that y'all putting in the air, that's bad work. Because I know the EPA is over, when it comes to our air conditioning shit too. We're putting Freon in the air. But they also had questions. They was taking on Tesla. Anybody that was in his way. The Department of Defense questioning what he doing with those fucking satellites and talking to Putin. Got rid of the fucking, just everything. Anybody that's investigating. So don't think that the money that they supposed to be cutting wasteful spending is supposed to be for the American people. No, he just getting the people out the way that's in his way of what the agenda is. Musk companies currently have over $3 billion in existing contracts with the U.S. government. $3 billion. In that regard, CISA told the witnesses at the hearing that Musk will receive an average of $8 million a day from his company's contracts, while the Social Security recipients that he's investigating receives the average of $65 a day. Y'all let that sink in. Y'all let that sink in. Now, is it a coincidence that all those inspector generals of all the same companies that he's having regulation problems with, is it a coincidence that they got rid of all of them? I'm just saying. Now, let's talk about some wasteful spending. And we can debate how much money should be put into the space program, how much money should be put into which I don't think he's putting American taxpayers' money into the Neuralink, but he needs permission to be able to push the boundaries of it. And that's where the government is in the way. So that's why they want the government dismantled in that way. When it comes to those rockets going in and out of the atmosphere, polluting the air, fucking up nature and all that shit there, you just need the government to get out your way. You don't really need their money for that, but you do need their money for the spaceships. So we're cutting all these jobs and all that, saying that that's going to save us money. We're finding a lot of wasteful spending. We're finding a lot of money that people are wasteful. We take away the U.S. aid and all that stuff like that. All right, cool. But not one time have we heard about this one wasteful spending that we're about to look over. How much government money has been spent on Trump playing golf? So let's look at all the things that Trump has did just in this 1 month that has cost taxpayers all kind of money. Starting with right here. We'll just talk about just within this month. 10 million. Donald Trump has reportedly, hold on, let me make sure y'all can see what I'm reading. Donald Trump has reportedly spent $10 million of taxpayer money funding his golf hobby since returning to office. Now, based on the 2019 report on the Government Accountability Office, the calculator of these excursions has been around $10.7 million. So we're going to round it up to $11 million every time that Trump plays golf. But in his first term, during his first term, they estimated each trip cost $3 million. Now they say Trump spent 25% of his presidency playing golf. So let's do a little math. He just only been in office for 30 days. He spent $11 million playing golf. So let's say he do this every month for 4 years. So after year one, we got $120 million. Almost probably $130 million. Close to it. 2 years, $260 million. 3 years, $390 million. 4 years, roughly $520 million. $500 million of our taxpayer money will go to a man playing golf. And that's just if, he does that the same amount of time that he did last time he was president. So if he did that last time, which he did, that would mean there's $1 billion that goes towards Trump playing golf. But we haven't heard any talk about cutting spending on this man playing golf. All we heard about is people losing their damn jobs. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. When it comes to wasteful spending. So my point, overall, is it doesn't really matter who's in office because, as I showed, even back into the Obama, the Bush days, all of that stuff like that, they were already investing in neuroscience, but it was all wired and stuff. They were just trying to, thinking that in the future maybe they can, people that's paralyzed, they can help them get the feeling back in their hands or whatever. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But we've been seeing that they've been doing that for as long as possible. We've been seeing that we always had NASA since the 60s trying to get to the moon, trying to get out of space, but it's always been the government. They've always had, like I say, the brain chips in mind. Now they got them, now they got a private company that's doing everything that the government was trying to do. They got a private company now that can do everything that the government's trying to do. And only thing we can hope that is in good intention. That's the only thing we can hope right now. So, I don't know if there's anything else I need to go over, but I definitely need to take me a break. I think I've covered a good bit, but I think there's some more that I can cover. But I think I want to take a chance to regroup myself and get the videos that I do want to cover so I can stay in line of what it is that I do want to cover. I know I had some stories. I know I had some more stories that I want to cover, but I kind of I gotta look through these videos and see which ones that I want to go through again. But I'm gonna go over this last video real quick, and then we're gonna get out of here and probably come back through. Yeah, just spending our money so he could golf, and then fire all these people. The amount of money that President Trump would spend on golfing between his last presidency and his new presidency, there's 365 million people in America. The money that man has spent golfing, they could have gave everybody $1 million. You could have given everybody $1 million with the money that Trump spends golfing. Do y'all realize that? That's amazing. All right, y'all. Hold up 1 second. And I'm gonna go to that person that came in about the transgender dog shit. I'm gonna do a little research into that and get a little better understanding of what the hell was going on with that, because that did spark my interest also. Oh, okay, that's where it's at. All right, check this out.
Is with us. And Daniel, on CNN.com, you list what you call the 13 biggest lies of the first month. We can't do all 13, but what are some of the ones that jump out at you?
John, there were so many lies from the President of the United States in his first month that I had a hard time making that list of 13, which I think is bananas if you take a second to think about it. I did make a list, though, and I had it done. It was edited, and then the President dropped in probably the biggest lie of the whole month. You've been talking about it on your show this morning. Listen to what he said about the war in Ukraine.
I think I have the power to end this war, and I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
Russia started the war in Ukraine. This is obvious. It barely needs a fact check. I think the brazenness of this claim, John, is an example of a president's willingness to lie about even obvious stuff. Some of the lies on my list are about complicated policy subjects like tariffs, but he's also lying about things we witnessed with our own eyes. I'll give you another representative example. It's an example of the president's years-old habit, something I call Trumpflation, and that is making his inaccurate stories more and more inaccurate over time. So listen to how the saga of the imaginary Gaza condoms evolved over the course of about a week.
Now, y'all remember people came over here like, nigga, why the hell he sent condoms over there while we were sending condoms to Gaza and all that? We sent $50 million of condoms to Gaza. Everybody was eating that shit up when they first said it. And then when they confronted Elon Musk in the White House about it, oh, man, you know, nobody's going to bat 1,000. We're not going to always get it right. No, you need to get that type of shit right before you start telling the American public that. Because we even seen Kwame come in here and say, well, they ain't going to get it right the first time. This ain't the first time. President Trump has spent more money. He's added more to the deficit than any other president. But now they're trying to do shit and make people, put people out of jobs when they're the one adding to the damn deficit. How much money can you save by shutting down SpaceX right now? Which I don't want you to. I mean, I want us to, go be advanced in the world. But we got a lot of shit going on. Wars, space races. But the people are starving.
Doge and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza.
We identified and stopped $50 million being sent to Gaza to buy condoms for Hamas. 50 million. And you know what's happened to them? They've used them as a method of making bombs. $50 million plus.
So he told us that Gaza was using the Gaza was using condoms to make bombs. People listen to this shit.
Another $50 million for condoms for Hamas. You know about that? $100 million for condoms.
Then he went from 50 million to 100 million. Right there in your face. He said 50 million and he jumped it up to 100 million. Then Elon Musk sat right there in the White House and they corrected him. He said, well, sometimes we're going to be wrong sometimes. But they spreaded this lie over and over and over and over. And then say, well, we ain't going to always be right. But what did this do? This made everybody approve, them dismantling the U.S. aid. Which I don't think everything in the U.S. aid was used the right way. I'm not mad at, maybe dismantling some parts of it. But I'm pretty sure we can all agree that everything wasn't bad in it. Even Elon Musk agreed to that. But they didn't put anything back in place. They just took it all, gutted the whole thing. And I bet that money is going to go towards SpaceX. They're talking about everybody going to get $5,000. Don't hold your breath. A stimulus check for $5,000. I wouldn't hold your breath waiting on that.
So we went from $50 million in condoms for Gaza to $50 million in condoms for Hamas to make bombs to $100 million in condoms for Hamas. None of this was true. The White House had no evidence whatsoever of any condom purchases for Gaza or for Hamas. So this was quite a tale. I'll give you a third example on my list. The president has been repeatedly deceptive about the subject of birthright citizenship, the constitutional right he's trying to end. And he
Birthright citizenship. Now, when it comes to birthright citizenship, I'm kind of on board with Trump on that. If y'all gonna stop it, okay, stop it. Cool. But wouldn't that apply for Elon Musk and his kids? Isn't Elon Musk a foreign immigrant and his kids were born on U.S. soil, so now they're U.S. citizens? Didn't his wife come over here from another country and they had a child?
He keeps saying that the U.S. is the only country in the world that offers birthright citizenship. In fact, that's not even close to true. There are dozens of countries that also grant automatic citizenship to people born on their soil, and you don't have to look far. The list includes Canada and Mexico. Now, you might say the president might be confused about this. Well, he's been making this same false claim, telling the same lie, since at least 2018. We've been fact-checking this for more than 6 years.
Yeah, repeating lies does not make them more true. Daniel Dale, with the facts this morning, great to see you. Thank you very much for this hard work. People should go check out your full list on
My bad, y'all. So Trump, for Black History Month, he decided he was going to invite some niggas to the White House. But the problem with that is, when he invited these niggas to the White House, he didn't want these niggas to touch him. As you can see right here on the screen. Nigga tried to lean in on Trump, and Trump like, oh, hell nah, don't touch me, nigga. Oh, man. So at the same time where he invited all these Negroes to the White House for Black History Month, he also was killing scholarships for HBCU students. You say you're looking for Kwame. He was here earlier. I flew him up out of here. But, you know, hey, it is what it is, man. We already in the shit. We might as well enjoy the shit. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, you was looking for Kwame at the White House? Hey, I said that same shit. I said, I'm surprised Kwame wasn't there. Him and Angela Stanton. But I'm gonna do a live later, and I might go over that little shit at the White House or whatever. I'm gonna go over some more stuff, but I gotta go take me a break. I gotta go clean out Lady Earz car, and I gotta go. I want to go ahead and get my stuff ready early so I can come back and do a live later. So I enjoy everybody that pulled up, man. We'll do a little bit more digging and see what's going on in our economy. And like I say, if Trump would have, if Elon would have ran for president, I probably would have voted for Elon over Trump, to be honest. You know, as far as the SpaceX shit, I'm not against it, but I am against it when a motherfucker's telling us that we can't, you know, we shouldn't, you know, gonna gut Medicare and Social Security, and a whole bunch of people are gonna get fired, especially when it comes to the people that are overseeing things like, you know, the FDA and all of these places like that. You know what I'm saying? I think we should at least get a report of what it is that they did to get fired. But the condoms, yeah, that shit crazy. That shit is crazy. Just these lies, man. It's hard to trust people that tell you lies like all the Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Tell you shit like we sending $50 million in condoms to our enemies. You know, just all of these lies is hard to believe when they actually may be telling the truth. Say Medicaid going, medicine going for $10 copay to $1,600. Yeah. I gotta go put it in line, but I got a guy that's saying that he was paying $6 for a month worth of his insulin for his diabetes, and now it done went back up to $80. You know, because of that bill that Biden had in place that they done, you know, hit the pause button on. Now, if you got diabetes and you need your insulin, it's going to cost you more. So, you know, hey, it is what it is, though. But we'll get into it more, man. Like I said, I just got to get some things back in order. I want to organize the videos and the talking points that I want to go over. So y'all double back when y'all get a chance, and we'll go live again later on today. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I want y'all to hit the like button on your way out, share the content, go catch the playback if you can, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Salute to everybody, and I'm out y'all area.
This is a 421 production. At this moment in you.